Incredible. Tasty, tasty. Incredible. Hey guys, good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are. I hope you're having a really, really good day. It's Thursday and we're streaming again. I've just realised as well that the camera that's up here that you can see just up here in the top corner is the wrong way around. So for any of you that are interested, I've just changed capture card. So I'm in the process of setting up the new capture card. Which means I need to have a transform on this to flip it horizontally. Boom. There we go. That's better. Right. Okay. So yeah. Yeah. Changing capture card. That's. I'll talk about that in a second. Because I wanted to do something a little bit different, and I'll talk to you about why. Let's see who got first. Godzilla got first. Afternoon all. Thank you so much for being here. Kevin Babes is here as well. So is Tob G. Good afternoon, good sirs. Saraji Man's here as well. How is everyone on a fine Thursday? Yeah, I went for a massage this morning, so I'm feeling chill, zen, relaxed, slightly greasy. But yeah, no, I feel really good. Clownfish, hey man, good to see you. Ballboy, thank you so much for the 20 months of tier 1 subs. Thoroughly appreciate that. I've also realised that I set this camera up for the colour profile correctly, and now the sun's outside, because last time I did this it was dark outside, so the camera profile is really washed out. I apologise. It's fine. Thank you so much for the 20 months, though, dude. I got scolded for using the rocket in someone's chat yesterday. They thought it was too sus. It's not sus, but you are free to use it here as much as you like. It's not sus. It's a rocket. Whose chat was that? I wanna know whose chat that was. JMS, thank you so much for being here as well. Wolfine as well. Zosko's here too. Switch is up. Is that here as well? This is wrecked. Funky. Hey man, good to see you. And I says, whoa, this is new angle. No, you've just been away from the stream for so long. The camera, like I have two monitors. I have two LG dual ups. I have one here and I have one here. And the camera's right in the middle. And then the overhead camera is obviously overhead. So yeah, so like the two monitors are separated by a gap of about 3 inches vertically between them. And that just helps me to delineate what work I'm doing. So Streamlabs is on the left hand side, although we will be moving to OBS because some of the stuff I want to do on stream going forward isn't available in Streamlabs. So we'll be moving to OBS soon, but I am slightly worried about that. So yeah, so the monitor I use for streaming on is here. That's how I see all you guys. I see chat just next to camera, so when I'm reading chat it looks almost like I'm looking at the camera. And then here is where I do my actual work. This is usually Discord and emails and kind of fluffy stuff, and this is actual dedicated work. So that's generally how I use my setup. So it is what it is. Manu Caves, hey, I love you. Send me the files. Yeah, sorry, dude. I'll talk about why they've not been sent in a second. Audacity, hey man, good to see you. Oxy says, what up? Manu keeps his stare. Is Oscar? Yeah. So yeah, so in terms of stream setup, I literally changed capture card for this camera. So what you're seeing here from this one, which is a 4-input HDMI slot thing, Camlink Pro, to a Magewell, because the Magewell is apparently better. And the swap out was fine, and getting the cameras to connect was fine. The issue I have now is the configuration. There is so many more options on the Magewell software, like it is ridiculous. There's so many more options and so many more things to go through and learn about that just wasn't available on the Camlink Pro. The Camlink Pro kind of like, you plugged it in, it said, is this like too light or too dark? And you went yes or no, and then it was like that was it pretty much. Unless you started to really delve into things. Everything here for the Magewell is like right on top, so yeah. But the swap out itself was really quick and easy. But it does lead me on to the next thing, which is new PC. I do need a new PC. This is not really going to cut it for what I want to do going forward. So whilst it was a reasonable machine a couple of years ago and I bought it, it would appear that parts have been pilfered for the machine downstairs, which is in Mel's office, which doesn't need to be as powerful. Incredible. So yeah. The 3090 that was bought with this machine isn't in this machine. It's a 3060. The 3090 is downstairs inside the other machine. The other machine has got 3 times the RAM this one's got, and it literally just prints out labels. So, so yeah, so that's the thing. So yeah, so one of the things I'm hopefully going to get you guys to walk me through today is looking at some PC parts, because I know nothing about the current generation of PC parts, but I have bought a new case. I've bought a new case because I know what case I want and how I want it to look. I want it to kind of match the wood behind, so I've gone for a really nice like kind of wooden front baton case, which you'll probably all recognize. So we'll maybe have a look at that later on. Who else is here as well? Captain Reed, thank you so much for the 3 months of Prime subs gaming. I appreciate that. Good afternoon. I'm just waiting for UPS to show up with my EPBT Fall keycaps for me. Congratulations, Fergath. I hope you enjoy them. Fall's a really nice set, actually. It's a really nice set. So, yeah. Yeah, I hope you enjoy it. Nothing is shipping out today. Just a reminder, we are closed today. But I'm still here, because I'm always here. And we'll be back in tomorrow, packing and shipping orders. So, yeah. Sagiri, hey, Jay, happy to see you. Best UK vendor. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. AIO fully working now. Sipula, no, it is not. It only works on maximum. The potentiometer, it must have a potentiometer in there, that this sliding little, it's like a little slider that adjusts it. So there must be some sort of potentiometer or something similar in there. That only works now if it's set to fully on, or it might even be a resistor, I guess, like a variable resistor or something. Anyway, whatever it is, only works if it's set to full, which means that the gate must be fully open from a power perspective, or however it's controlling it. If I change that even slightly, oop, PC dies. So that's part of the reason. I mean, that's only one tiny part of the reason for a new PC, but the other part is it's old. I desperately want to get back into video gaming, and this PC won't hack it. So yeah, that's the plan. And I want to do more streaming, like these streams. So tasty. The plan is to do significantly more streams over the next few months, try and do more and share more with you guys. So that's what we're going to do. But no, the AIO cooler is not yet working. But it will be soon. We're just going to buy a new one. It's easier. Me too. Keep putting it off. Nice. Gadgetoid, hey, thanks very much for being here. Skiri says, hey Jay, were you one of the vendors for the F1 V2? If so, will you have extras? Yes, we were, and we will have extras. Almost every group buy has extras. There was a couple of exceptions. The first one was Cat Drifter. Unfortunately, because that was based on the game Hyperlight Drifter, the contracts to enable us to sell the keycaps only lasted for 1 year, and the extras didn't arrive until after a year, which means we couldn't sell them on because our contract had expired and we couldn't negotiate a new contract, so we had a lot of stock we had to get rid of. That was one group buy we couldn't do. There's been a couple of others where it's been sold in pre-order first, where it's not really a group buy, and then it'll come into extras later on as well. But yeah, you can almost guarantee that every group buy will have some extras. They may be more or less than what we actually sold in the group buy, though. So bear in mind that not every option might be available, but we will try our best. Maybe the 3090 is more comfortable than Mel's machine. The thing is, the machine downstairs, literally all it does is it goes to the UPS website, it goes to Shopify, it prints off pieces of A4 paper for packing list, it prints off customer invoices, and it prints off labels, and that's pretty much all it does. Maybe a little bit of web browsing in between, maybe a little bit of Discord messaging in between. It doesn't need to be like a high-powered PC. So I suspect that we might end up replacing that machine as well with something way less powerful. We'll see. PC parts can grow legs. I have noticed. Yeah, like this machine had 32 gig of RAM. It now only has 16. The machine downstairs has 64 gig of RAM, and it's like, why is that machine the one that's downstairs? Don't know. Maxing out the slider isn't. Yeah, so the slider is on full, and I've actually taped it, so I can't adjust it until I get a new PC. But like, the PC's fine. This PC will live on. What I'm going to do is actually the machine that's downstairs and this machine, they're both going to be dismantled and rebuilt, and one of them is going to permanently live by the laser cutter instead of me having to use the one in the office and send the files to the laser. It's going to have a permanent machine there in the workshop, like in the actual warehouse next to the machine, so I can just really quickly drop a plate file in and make it, or whatever I'm cutting on the laser. So that is the plan. RTX marbles, absolutely. Did you plug the AIO in on the correct header? I never actually touched the AIO, Josh. What happened was I wanted to look inside the PC to make sure the Magewell capture card would fit. So all I did was I literally turned the PC sideways so I could see in the back, and then turned it back once I knew that the slot that this card took up was the same. And then it just died. I turned it on, it was just crawling, clearly because it was overheating, but it wasn't shutting off. So yeah. Which PC game am I most desperate to play? So there's a few things I want to do. I want to get back into Destiny before the expansion drops in a couple of weeks. So yeah, I desperately want to play that. I've been really lucky in my Destiny career to have played with some of the game's designers and makers and some of the developers for the game over at Bungie, which has been phenomenal. And I've just kind of dropped it and not touched it for the last 18 months. Maybe I've had an hour on it in the past 18 months. And I really miss a lot. What I really miss is the PvP. I used to love Iron Banner and Trials of Osiris and all this, and I just want to get back into it. So that's my plan, is to start to try and spend at least one day a week where I play 5 or 6 hours of video games. Destiny is the main one, though. Yeah, I know on some motherboards, if you plug it right into the pump header, it's max or nothing. Oh, well, that's not changed. So it used to be on the variable slider, and it always used to be on low, because there is a little bit of fan noise on full, and there was very little fan noise on low. So yeah, so I don't know. I don't know. If I were to buy an F1 V2 Extra, would you be willing to build it for me? Yes. If you look on the main page of the website, if you scroll down to the bottom, there's a bit about our build service on there as well. So yeah. Why don't you yoink the 3090 back? I may well do. We just need to work out what is in what machine, and where's my footstool gone? Lost my footstool. Hold on. I just pushed it miles away. There we go. So yeah, so we just need to figure out what I've got. But I think the machine for here, because it's so dedicated for a lot of high-powered stuff, I suspect that just having something new. I mean, both of the PCs are like 3 or 4 years old, so it is time for an upgrade anyway. Just the PC downstairs does not need to be as powerful as it is for what it does, whereas this one kind of does, because it's for streaming, it's for hopefully a little bit of video gaming. I do a lot of fusion work on this, and yeah, it's got to be good. So yeah, that's the plan. Have I tried any HE keyboards with games? Not with games, no. I'm not. I used to be a massive gamer, but I'm not anymore. I just don't find the time. But I'm trying to force myself to find the time. So yeah, so that will happen. That will happen. Avoid Asus if possible. If anything happens, know that their RMA is bad, and they ought to outright try to scam their customers. Interesting. They even tried to scam Gamers Nexus. Wow. Okay, so I was actually looking at Scan. The issue here is like a few people suggested, why don't you just go and have a look on Facebook Marketplace or these resellers and stuff like that. And because this is a company machine, it's not really a personal machine. And because most of the business day-to-day dealings will be run from this machine as well, so spreadsheeting and all that kind of stuff, it needs to be something that has a full-on warranty, because if something goes wrong, they need to send me a replacement part ASAP. Like, that just is how it has to be. It's not like I can go, oh yeah, it's fine, I'll manage on a laptop for a week, because no, that's just, when it's the core of my business, it has to be spot on. So, I had been looking at pre-builts, but I think I'm now a little bit more comfortable with the idea of building my own again. I've built hundreds in the past, it's just a long time since I've built them, so yeah, we just need to figure it out. But yeah, thank you for that, I appreciate it. That's still better than MSI and Gigabyte. I think the thing for me here in the UK is, if I have a problem with an Asus product but I bought it from Scan, then I'm just going to go to Scan and say, look, this is broken, it's in warranty, send me a replacement. So I think that's probably how we're going to handle it more than anything. If it's business stuff, why not go for a super micro build? The thing is, I want something that's powerful. I want it to look nice. I know what case I want, because I've already bought the case. In fact, I'll show you in a second. Let me get the case up. Because there's also like a looks thing. Like, my office has an aesthetic, which is untidy at the minute, but when it's done, it does have an aesthetic that I like to go for. So the case I've gone for is to kind of match the paneling, and it's the Fractal Design North case. So let me find some nice images of that. Where are the images? Okay, let's right, let me do this. And does this share the right browser? There we go. So this is the case that I've gone for. You'll all have seen it. It's, it's a really, really nice looking case. It fits in with the theme of the office with the wooden panels behind me. It just looks really solid. So Yeah, that's the case I've gone for. The case is already here. I just now need to buy components to put into it. I have a very specific aesthetic when it comes to it. I'm not too worried about the internals and how they look. Like, I don't want RGB or LEDs. That's not me. Cables I'll figure out later on. So yeah, the first and foremost is to get everything built and working, and then we'll figure out the looks afterwards. You can have a back fan on it. I don't know if you can see my cursor in the image here, but you can have a back fan in it as well. Not all of them do, but you can do. So yeah. Yeah, wait. Water cooled build? Wait, what? Wait, what? Now I want to visit this site. What's this? Water cooled unit? What on earth? Okay. Oh yeah, it's just it's custom block. There's no way that's only 60 euros. What? This is some scam site. This is some scam site. Anyway, I just wanted to show you guys the image. But yeah, that's the design I'm going for. The kind of aesthetic. So the case is here. I just now need to buy components to fit inside it. So yeah. So one of the things that I am absolutely going to do is it's going to be an Intel build. I know some people have said don't go for Intel, go for AMD, but it is going to be an Intel build. And what I need to do now is really figure out what I'm actually going to put into it. In fact, actually, hold on. My browser setting is showing in HDR. Give me a second. That should pop back now. There we go. I just didn't want it to be overly bright so you can actually see it there. So yeah, so that's the plan. I just need to learn what I need to look at. This is one hell of a fake dropship website. Yeah, like, it was obviously some fake website. Did I go with white or black? I went with black, wayward folks. Like my office and my desk is all black. If I so if I hide this, like, you can see my desk is like a copper effect desk, which is really lovely. So most of my office stuff is kind of like wood, warm tones. That pillar that you can see just behind me here, and all of this wall that runs down here is going to be painted like a dark grey-green color pretty soon. So yeah, it's an aesthetic. It's a view that we're going to go for. Yeah. Something's capturing in HDR. Yeah, absolutely. My monitors are in HDR, but it brightens it up too much when I'm using the capture card for it. So, yeah. So I just need to figure out now what components to put into it. And yeah, this is where I don't know. I'd like the idea of an i9, but you guys are going to tell me it's overkill, right? And I don't even know what they are. Raptor Lake, 14th gen, right? Let's have a look at a couple of those. I think 500 quid's pretty good. Core i9, 14,900 KF, 24 cores, 32 threads, 6 gigahertz. That seems alright. Oh, and the K is like, what's the difference? And does anyone know when it says 14,900 KF or just K? What's that for? Does anyone know? Does anyone know? Oh, it's definitely overkill. It'll do. It'll do. Do a PC part picker for the build, and it'll work out the component compatibility and PSU. Oh, that's quite cool. What's that? PC part picker. Let's have a look at that. Let's have a look at PC part picker, and let's figure it out. Start your build. Interesting. I'm hoping a friend of mine can actually help me out with a wait, what? CPUs. Okay, right. Let's do that. Intel. I don't know what to do. What to sort it by performance? By name? I don't really know. Let's sort it by performance. Bang for buck. Gosh, some really old stuff looking there. That doesn't help me. What about if we do it by rating? Oh wait, price is generally a good indicator, right? Yeah, I'm not spending $2,799 on pounds on one. I don't want to spend $1,000 on one either. Wow. Okay. Yeah, let's go back to what was it sorted by before? What's name? Let's search for the i9. I don't recognize it. Right, okay, so these are the ones I was looking at here. Okay. Okay, well, I don't need anything with integrated graphics. So is that the difference between the KS and the KF? And the K? Looks to be. Looks to be. KF is about integrated graphics. Yeah, okay, I think I just worked that out. No integrated GPU. I don't need a GPU, so that's fine. Okay, let's go for let's just go for that. Let's just go for that. Okay. No such thing as overkill. Absolutely. KF doesn't have onboard graphics. Yeah, I think sorry guys, I missed that in chat, but I think I figured it out. That just going back to Sagiri, the issue, the way I see it, is that companies are not held accountable. Why should they? Not enough people lodge complaints at the proper places and don't even bother looking where to do. So where our dear politicians would even think of helping people that are getting effed up but are not fighting back, it's sad. Josh, thank you for the offer of dropping your DM. I may well do that. Especially considering you do all the fusion work. You don't do all of the fusion work. You do a lot of the fusion work. You don't do it all. So yeah. Is it just for work? Yeah, so work for PT is kind of varied. So there is streaming like now. There is Fusion 360. There is other design software, Lightburn and things like that, powering the laser. There's just general office work as well. There's rendering for videos and stuff like that, which is kind of becoming more and more important at the minute. So there's a ton of different things to do with the machine, so it kind of needs to be like, you know, pretty powerful. PCPartBigger.com/this. Yes, I'm there. Thank you, Oxy. I apologize for not catching up with chat. You guys are all linking me to the right stuff before I'm even ready for it. The main thing is the size of case for GPU and AIO. Yeah, so I think the case is pretty fine. So the case is the this one, the Fractal North design, with the wooden slats on the front. So I think that's going to be fitting most things inside there. CPU cooler. Now, I am tempted to go with an AIO again. What in your guys' opinion, who know more about this than me, what is the best AIO in the market right now? What are people buying? What's the right option here? Or isn't there one? And bear in mind, I want to go with a dark theme.
Incredible.
If you built a PC a long time ago, the market's changed. Yeah, I'm very aware of that. Yeah, start with the Mobo. Okay, we'll go back and we'll pick a motherboard in a minute. Oh, the discount's not working? Yeah, sorry, I forgot to turn it off. The discounts are only on the Sunday streams. Sorry, let me go turn that off. Stream elements. Yeah, the discounts are only on the Sunday streams. I do apologize. That's on me. Chatbot, chat commands, custom commands, discount. Where's discount? There it is. Okay, and timers. Apologies for that. Yes, I should have turned that off. I need to set a reminder to do that. Cool. Okay. Thank you. I appreciate that. I'll go AMD and wait till a bit later in the new year when the new ones come out. If you add your case in, it will work out which CPU's colors will fit also. Oh, does it? If I go back, is there an option for case? Ah, yeah, okay. There we go. Your boy runs a 5958X with a 4090. It's pretty much good for many things. Nice. I've never had an AIO failure. So mine hasn't failed, but the potentiometer that changes the speed of the fans on it has failed. Buy a Noctua NU12A or NHD15 and be happy forever. AMD is the go-to nowadays. What is it with everyone with AMD these days? And ZXT Kraken's great. The case stuff is pretty good. You guys are like literally like complaining about everything. Fractal AIOs are good. Okay. Okay, I feel like whatever I buy here, you guys are just going to tell me it's wrong. I feel like there's no good answer. No idea. I planned it years ago and never followed through. Extended my headset. Nice. Went with low Corsair bits 2 years ago, but I was after the RGB. If you don't want RGB, you can choose other components. I have it turned off though. Yeah, I plan on turning all the RGB off. I don't like or need it. They're running out of money and haven't been paying staff. Nexus Gamers Nexus has a video about it. Nice. Okay. Okay. Well, I don't want to support bad companies. So we've had a vote for the NZXT Krakens. And also the Noctua stuff. Is there a Noctua one in here? I do like the Noctua stuff actually. So which is the Noctua AIO? I only see coolers here. Or is that what you're saying? Go with an actual fan instead and just don't worry about it. I think I prefer an AIO. Let's try that. Let's go with ratings. Okay, EK do get the top one. Lanley also gets good results. Noctua doesn't have any hours. I didn't think so. Yeah, make huge air coolers. Yeah. You might go with NZXT one with the display on the CPU, man. Nice. There's a 360mm radio to fit in your case. It should do, right? It should do. Let's have a look. Specs. It should tell us in here somewhere. Interestingly, it doesn't tell us. I'm pretty sure it'll fit though, right? Micro ATX motherboard, fan size 140. No, that's not the right bit. I just have the North case. I don't have the XL. Just the North case, not this one. But basically this case, I think, just the North one. Just the North. NHD 15 Blackout Edition. Is that a thing? I love how you guys are just all constantly not agreeing. Doesn't find the NH15. Oh, I see. It's a Noctua one. Okay, I see. Lanley is decent. Fits a 360 at the front, 240 for the top. Part picker should flag if it doesn't fit. Okay. So what are we going for here? What's the right thing to look for? 240mm for top mount. Okay. Lanley's ones are pretty good apparently. Okay, right. So there's quite a few 360 ones. Okay, there's a 240 one there. Okay, so this one looks like it'll do the job, right? Yeah, that'll do the job. Okay. Wait, where was it? There it is. Pop it in. Right, motherboard. This is where you guys are all going to tell me to not pick the same thing or whatever. I don't know. I don't need Wi-Fi included in it, so that's fine. Where do you guys sit on motherboards? Some cases will have fan spaces front and top, so you can choose depending on airflow and radio size. Yeah. The Lanley Galahad is really good. Oh, they said 240 would only fit on the top, so that's why I went with that. with the best reliability. I don't know what has the best reliability. I don't know what has the best reliability. This is where you guys need to guide me. Most decent end motherboards will have Wi-Fi included. Just don't install the pins for it. Yeah, I don't need it, so if it changes. If it's a business PC, why don't you just go crazy? You get the money back anyway, right? Dude, that is not how it works. Like, the business still has to pay for it, right? So, like, it's not like you get... Ferragath, do you really think that if the prototyper's business buys the PC, it's free? Because that ain't how it works. Like, the business still has to pay for it, and I still don't want to be spending like massive amounts of business money on it, right? Like, sure, like the VAT's write off on it, fine, and it's a business asset, great, but like there is still value and cost to consider. Like, I can't just drop 30 grand on a fully custom cooled gaming rig or whatever. That's not how it works. That's not how it works. I wish that was the way. I wish that was the case. Oh, it's for the business. It's free. Here you go. Scan, just give me everything for free. Yay. No, sadly not. I still have to take into consideration the cost. Yeah. You can fully write it off in Germany. Like, it's still a cost though. It's still a cost. The money still has to come from somewhere. So whether you can write it off as a business expense or not is fine. Like, this is 100% a business expense. So from that respect, it's written off. The business will pay for it, right? But at the same time, the business has to pay for it. So I'm not going to order like 2 grand's worth of PC. It's going to be like, well, 20 grand's worth of PC. Maybe it will touch 2 grand. I don't know. But yeah. Yeah, like, I just wish that was the case. The old Linus text tip, it's a write-off. Daily it's free discussion. Remind me of the tax write-off shirt from Linus Tech Tips. Yeah. Just a heads up, Intel CPUs had voltage problems caused by motherboards. Also for gaming, AMD is cheaper and better than Intel. What I will tell you, take what's cheapest between the 2 CPUs. You are not paying for it, the business is, hence it's free. But I own the business, and if the business doesn't make money, I have to fund the difference. So it's technically my money ultimately. Yeah, I'm not comfortable with just spending loads of money unnecessarily. Like, things have to have a use and a requirement for the business to be able to justify it. So we are the customers, so are we paying for it? No. No. You pay for the products. That's what you pay for. Like I mean, that opens like an interesting question actually, because I get what you're getting at here is that business profits are what provide funding for the tools that we need to do our jobs, right? But like, the profits from the business primarily go on staff costs. Like, the gross profits go on staff costs, warehousing, electricity supply, internet supply, insurances. Insurances are massively expensive. We probably spend 25 grand a year minimum on just one type of insurance, which is nuts. So yeah, like, so the profit from the product we sell pays for all of those things, and that's why I have a gross profit and a net profit. But to think of it as the customers pay for the business's stuff, that's not really the right way to look at it. I think that's the wrong way to look at it. But yeah, can we make an argument that business money is our money, therefore we can spend better money for completely business work? No, that's not how it works. Just making a joke. I hope it didn't come the wrong way. No. I knew it was a joke. It does raise an interesting question, because we quite often have people say, "Oh, you need to do what I say in the email because I pay for your salary." And it's like, well, technically, that's not really how this works. Like, you don't just get to tell me how to run the business because you provide like part of my salary or something. In communist prototypist, it's not Jay's PC, it's our PC, comrade. Yeah, I mean, this is Capitalist 101, right? The business funds the business funds, and it's up to the business to figure it. But yeah. You will single-handedly keep me in business, dude. Like, dude, don't ever say that, because like, the costs of running a company here in the UK are insane. Just the cost of rent and business rates for this building for the year are significantly more than the average salary in the UK. It's true. The rent and the business rates here are more every year than all of our staff make combined. Like, it is ridiculously high. It's stupidly high. So yeah, don't ever think about saying that, because one day someone might hold you to it, and you might be a little bit upset. Ordering in Lazy Mentor's coming to an interesting point. Fun to build a PC, but buying aftermarket ready-made Dell PCB, business grade only, is most optimal. You can get a new machine. Okay, I'm going to click the link. This could be dangerous. Oh, it wants me to sign into Google. Wait, I don't really know what that link's for then. Okay, let's have a look at Dell. Interesting. Let's have a look at Dell and see what Dell can do. I assume it's Dell B stock or something. Is that what you were trying to say? I mean, I'm not going to buy from Dell anyway. I have issues with Dell from a personal perspective in past business requirements with them. Like, I just feel like all of these options are just more than I need to get into right now. These don't look like anything I'm going to want. Yeah, 11k. I don't need anything like that. If it says Xeon in it, it's too much, I think. Alienware Aurora R16, 2.5 grand. Let's have a look at this. Aurora R16, i9 14,900. Okay. 64 gig of RAM, 4 terabyte PCIe M2 drive, a 4080 Super. I don't dislike the Alienware chassis, but I already have a chassis, so I don't need that. Yeah, that seems like a lot of money for not from Dell directly, although they have refurbs. There are multiple sources. Got it. Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to buy Dell. Don't worry. But thank you for the option, Liz, man. I appreciate that. I do appreciate the suggestion. Build an ITX PC? No, I don't want something so small. Don't get pre-made. They properly cheap out on the unsexy stuff like the PSU, and you suffer in the long run. Yeah, like, I was looking at some pre-made. The reason for that is because if I buy pre-made and it goes wrong, I can just RMA it and get a new one the next day, right? That's it being a business expense. That's kind of what I was thinking, but we'll see. This shows a tax write-off. That's now how it works. Tax write-off does mean you don't spend the money. I'm going to give you guys a little lesson. This is a crisp fake Benjamin. If I paid all my other business expenses and I make this money, I take it home, or well, at least a taxman takes this pretty close to 50% cut. Okay, I made $50. That's great. I hold on a second. I have a business expense. This time I need to buy a filming slate. I'm going to spend that. $50 is gone. But I've got this slate and I've still got $50. That's my profit. Oh, wait, I still have to pay taxes on that part that was profit. The money that didn't get taxed was the money I spent on an asset that the business, a separate legal entity, now owns. It's not a way of making more money. Yeah. On an unrelated note, I want to send a massive thank you for accommodating my request on the Space Test order. It's made a big difference to the end aesthetic, and I'm very grateful. Thanks, Jane and the team. No worries. Yeah, there was a couple of people who, due to time elapsed, had messages and said they wanted to change X part of Space Dust for Y part of Space Dust, and for the most part, it was easy to do because there were plenty of extras. Some of the kits are now sold out, so it'd be difficult now. But yeah, I'm really glad we were able to do that for you. There's a couple of people that made requests like that, so. Yeah, especially where it was like for like kits in terms of cost. It was just like a different color option for the kits. So we're more than happy to try and help out like that if we can do. So yeah, you get a free keyboard though. Wait, what? Who gets a free keyboard? Who gets a free keyboard? Envious. Hey man, thanks for dropping in. People think tax write-offs are free money for real. I don't know. I have no idea. But like it's a common joke, right? It's a common joke. Aren't there some PC guys in MKUK who build PCs as a side hustle? Yeah, I don't trust them. I'm joking. The problem with like getting someone to build it for me if they're not like a business is I can't then go back to it and like complain if it breaks. Like, well, I can, but it will then be on them to fix it. And if they're not a business, they're not going to send me another one the next day. So, oh, the Dell came with a keyboard included. Gotcha. Free keyboard with the pre-made builds. Gotcha. Yeah. There's a reason they're free. Here's the difference between average vendor and PT. Not possible with most of those. Yeah, I mean, I can't say that we can always do it, Lasermen, but we try. If people ask us to do stuff, we will try. It's nearly always on a best endeavors basis for stuff like that. We'll quite often have people say, "Oh, I bought a red keyboard in the group buy, and I'd really like a black one." And it's like, if we have a black one left over after all the others have shipped out, we might be able to do it for you. If it's to the same spec and everything's like for like and the cost is the same or whatever. But sometimes that's just not possible. So yeah. It's fine. But it's a best endeavors process. I can build your PC, but the warranty runs out as soon as it leaves my front door. Exactly, that's the problem, right? Like, I have no problem with other people building a PC for me if it's for me at home. Because if anything goes wrong, I'll just message them and I'll say, "Hey Matt, you know, the PC is broken, what can we do to fix it? What do we need to do?" When it's literally the lifeblood of the business, and if it doesn't exist, I don't get my work done for the day, then it needs to be on an RMA basis straight away. That's the reason why companies like Dell proliferate, because, you know, when businesses are buying products, if that product goes wrong, the support has to be there to fix it. And that's why businesses end up paying a premium for stuff a lot of the time, because that comes with that service level agreement that's kind of all bundled in as part of it. And sure, like from a professional business standpoint, if you're outfitting a desk set up for 20 people, you might just go straight to Dell and say, "Look, I've got 20 people, they all do this work, what PC specs do I need?" So, yeah. Unfortunately, I don't need 20 PCs, because we just don't. Interestingly enough, though, the laptop that Sharon uses for PT is a Dell product, which was bought from Dell Direct a couple of years back. She requested a laptop rather than a desktop, so that's what she got. Right, okay, so we never got to pick a motherboard. The thing is, I don't understand why is this second one here? Why is that 250 quid compared to the first one at 150 quid? What am I getting extra for that? I think here we just sort by rating, right? Oh, why is that sorted by 4? 20, right? Okay, so the Gigabyte seems to be the most favourable one here in terms of ratings from the consumers. I'm not paying 460 quid for a motherboard, so let's just add that for now. Oh, compatibility warning. Gotcha. Right, okay, so we can't have that. So, but we can have the MSI Pro AMAX Wi-Fi. That will work. Or the Asus ROG Strix. Now, someone mentioned Asus before, so let's go for that one. Okay. Memory. Corsair Vengeance. So the thing is, I want to kind of outfit this with as much RAM as possible. 64 gigabytes minimum is kind of what I want to look at. Ideally, I'd like to do like 96 or something like that. Oh, 128. G-Skill Trident. Okay, let's have a look at that. I'm just going to search for Trident because that might pick it faster. G-Skill Trident, 128 gigabytes. Okay, I'm just going to have to search through the Trident ones. I see a lot of 64s and a lot of 32s. I do not see 128 yet. Unless I'm blind and I've scrolled past it. This is where you tell me you just buy 2 lots of the 64, right? 96. 96 again. Yeah, okay, so the 128 is not in there. Wait, what? Is that it? Oh no, I read something wrong. Do 32 gigabyte sticks each to fill the 4 slots. Oh, okay, I see. So you want a single slot 32 gigabyte. How do I pick that on this list? Okay, so I could just do 2 of that, right? Okay, because that one there is... Oh, it's got bloody thingies on it. I don't want that. Right, that's dark. Right, okay, cool. Cool. Add additional memory. It's the same one as we added before. There we go, right? Yeah, there we go. Cool. Storage. I just want a standard NVMe drive. 2 terabytes will do. Nice. Samsung, good brand, fine. Video card. Okay, where do we stand on video cards, guys? Let's catch up with chat. Captain Reese says, side note, KKB instant progress towards MOQ ain't looking so hot. Could everyone go buy it, please? If they don't, what's the score for when something doesn't meet MOQ in a book through PT? If it doesn't meet MOQ, you just get a refund. Simple as that. Z series should be more expensive as they have advanced features such as being overclock compatible. Yeah. For any motherboard vendor, get a board that sells well regardless of brand. They don't really want to support the poorly selling units. True. 264GB kits. Yeah, I did that. Yeah. RAM is much of a muchness. Get a mid-tier speed and timings. Top tier getting scalp for fast timings. Lowest end normally within a few pounds of mid-tier. Pre-builts tend to be kneecapped bits to improve stability and reliability. Yeah. Please say we'll get a build stream out of this. Yeah. Whenever I buy all the parts, we'll build it on stream. Just use your 3090 personally. We'll see. We'll see. Like, let's go by rating again. NVIDIA 3060 Founders Edition. No, it's not available. Why does it do that with stuff? Right. Let's have a look at here. Okay, so I mean, like, I feel like either a high 30s or a mid 40s is probably better. So like a 4070 Ti maybe. Oh god, look at them all. Look at them all. Or something like a 3090 Ti, right? Let's have a look at those. Well, a 4090 fits in the case. It should do, right? 4090 is better bang for a buck than 4080 when moving to 3090. The only issue is the connector. I'll get a cable from Cable Mod or hope your PSU has a 12-pin cable. Only had issues at launch. Nice. I think your 3090 will outperform everything up to a 4080. Will it? Interesting. That's good to know. Like, these don't seem to be too badly priced though, right? Like 800 quid for a 4070 Ti Super. Okay, so 3090. So you guys think just stick to the 3090? Okay. Well, let's just chuck a 3090 on here for just for the build and the consistency. Right. Christ, these are expensive. I'd forgotten how much these money these were. Well, it doesn't really matter because, well, we'll just add the cheapest one because we're not going to buy it. We're just going to reuse the other ones. That's fine. Right, okay. Power supply. Okay. So, where do we stand with power supplies, right? Just anything but not bronzed here, right? Isn't there some disk stuff that needs a 40 series cards? Seasonic all the way. I do want something modular, so I'm hoping that these are modular. They look to be. Seasonic, okay. Yeah, we did the GPU, yeah. So, Seasonic Focus Plus 850 Gold. Oh, they've got the ATX, or yeah. 850 watts should be more than enough because it's not telling us that we're anywhere close to this. Oh, they've got a 1000 watt, sorry, 250 quid. This is probably the only thing we'll all agree on. Go for the platinum. Okay. So we've got an 850 watt platinum one now. Estimated wattage. Okay, so we've got an 850. We're looking at 814. I feel like we probably need to go back and do the power supply again. Let's see if there's Seasonic. Let's see if there's a 1 terawatt one. Sorry, a 1000 watt one. 1 terawatt? What the fuck? Okay. Need something can I actually buy as well. Okay. 1000 watts. We've got a titanium there. It's not got a price for it. I think we just go for the plus gold, right? I'll do. OS is fine, monitor's fine. Great. So we spent 3 grand. Well, it's 4 grand. 3.5 grand, isn't it? 3.5 grand. Do 1,000 watt, be anxious like me and get a 1,300 watt. Yeah, I think that 1,000 watt is fine. Yeah. That has a very long warranty. Cool. Prime TX is top of the line. Excellent. Okay. So that kind of gives me an idea of what I need to be looking at, right? It's a lot of money.
Incredible.
Okay, I'm going to save that. Oh, I must be logged in. Oh, do I need to register? Oh, here we go. Let me just turn this off while I do password stuff. Boop. I'm also going to go to here. I'm going to use that one. No. Change password again. Didn't like it.
Incredible.
Guides. I've now looked in. I've lost the build. We can still see your webcam. Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. I now want to mock something up for me. Go for it, Josh. Go for it, Josh. Go back to builder. Oh, bring it back. Oh, okay, cool. Right. Okay, now we can save it as. Cool. There we go. Save. Cool. Cool. Did that save? I'm logged in. I'm logged in. I'm logged in. Oh. Okay. Well, I'll do that then. Come back to it. Done. There we go. Saved. I love building PCs and deciding not to go for it because something better is around the corner. Yeah, that's the way it is. Yeah. Zed, hey man, thanks for being here. I saw someone once call another person stupid for buying a 4060 because the 5090 is almost released, and they tried to argue their point, but that's just the internet for you. Back to cleaning. Yeah. Gonna build a tail end of PC at the tail end of this year, I think. Really want to do away with all RGB and make a stealth build. Might get that fractal north case. Yeah, I already have the case because I knew that's what I wanted. So yeah, I just need to figure out the rest of the parts now. So, but this is a good start for 10. If anyone wants to DM me like a list of what they think are some ideal parts to buy, please do so, and I'll take a look at it. And it might be something we can pick up. Right. Okay. So, oh, I need to get rid of that as well. There we go. Right. Anyway, that wasn't where I wanted to go. PT News. Minus 1600 because you already have the GPU in the case. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. PC Power became my favorite. I was just something to use your guys' knowledge to help me out. Right, PT news, because I was supposed to talk about this before and we didn't. Where are we at? This week for me has been a bit of a delayed week. I have not got much done productivity-wise because I've been taking care of other stuff. So for those that you don't know, I did mention this on stream a couple of days ago. A good friend of mine who was in the MKUK community passed away a couple of years back, or just nearly 2 years ago now, called Hectoring. If you were in MKUK, you may remember him. Sadly, he died in a car accident a little while back. And yesterday, I spent the day with his family. They live quite a drive for me. It's like 4 hours drive away. So it's taken a little while to plan it out and get down there. But yesterday, I did go and spend some time with them. Had a really good chat with them. They made me coffee and gave me cake, which was really nice, and took me out for lunch as well, which was also really nice of them. So I know they'll never see this, but to Hector's family, thank you so much for yesterday. It was a really nice day, especially under the circumstances. So the reason I was going to see them is because, well, Hector had a lot of keyboard collection. Like many of us, he'd bought parts over the years and he'd stored them and put them away. And, you know, I am one to speak because right behind me, there is a ton of keyboard stuff that's just my personal collection. You know, this is just what happens for some of us in the hobby. And his family had no idea what to do with it. They just didn't. They didn't even know what half of it was or 3/4 of it were. And Hector also had a business making cables for people as well. So they had no idea what to do with that, but they knew he'd spent a lot of money on it. So yesterday I went down to see them. I borrowed a van off of a friend of mine and I collected all of that stuff. Now there is boxes and boxes and boxes of it. A lot of it's brand new, a lot of it's never been opened, a lot of it is older as well. There's a lot of just bits. So yeah, I'm struggling to find the words for this, but effectively now I need to go through Hector's stuff and try and figure out what it all is. And at some point, the really nice admins over at MKUK have agreed to raffle this off for charity. So Hector's family have asked us that we can raffle it off on their behalf, and then we will be donating either all or the vast majority of the money to charity, which is a really good use for it. So this is something that's going to happen over the next couple of months. Hector had a lot of stuff, and rather than just be sat in a storage unit, we're going to try and make sure it goes back to community members who, you know, will get use out of it and be able to use it. So the plan at the minute is for me to spend the next couple of weeks documenting it. It's going to take me some time because I've got to try and fit it in between everything else. Maybe we'll even try document some of it on stream. I'll try and do that. So yeah, so that's going to take some time, and we're going to work through that for the next couple of weeks. And then hopefully towards the time of the meetup or just after, Gouty and Pokemon Kid and myself across the MKUK will start to try and raffle it off. It's going to take a while to like pull that list together. There may be some things in there that Hector's family would like to retain or have sent back to them, or if it's a stupid value, if we find a key call or something in there, then it might be something that we send back to them as well. We really just need to work through it all first. But the plan is to, at some point in the middle to late summer, raffle that off, and then MKUK will handle all of the funds, and Prototypers will just ship it out because we'll have it all here at the workshop, so we'll just send it out to people. But there must be 20, 30, 40 key sets. There must be a similar number of keyboards. There's a lot of stuff to go through, so it's going to take some time. Hector was a great guy. He helped everyone out, and even now, when he's not around anymore, his stuff is going to help people out. So please be aware of this, and bear in mind that over the coming months, it'll be announced on MKUK that there is going to be a raffle for charity for Hector's stuff, and you guys will be able to bid and buy on it. So that's what I spent my day doing yesterday, which is why I wasn't here at PT. Mel was here, because she was working hard and catching up on all of the in-stock orders and everything else. Today's technically our close day, but I'm here because I never leave. And tomorrow we'll be catching back up on shipping all of the in-stock orders out, as well as a few other bits as well. The other bit of news I got this morning is that GMK Blacksnale is just about to leave GMK. They confirmed that it was all boxed up and ready and waiting to be shipped. So that should arrive in the next 7 to 10 days, give or take. I really expect that to probably arrive next Friday, or maybe even a week on Monday. That's probably the realistic timeline, and then we'll be able to get GMK Blacksnale orders out, which means that will be probably the next GMK set we put back into stock. So if you're interested in that, please do take a look at it. Yeah, in terms of the PT news, that's pretty much it. The Gihern is still live. So let's just talk about pre-orders for a second. If you go to the PT website, we still have the Gihern pre-orders live right now. Incredible. Thank you so much for the follow, or whatever that was. I missed it. I think it was a follow. Joe Lala, thank you so much. There are only a very limited number of these Gihans available. Once these have gone, they are never going to be made again. This is the last time they're ever going to be made. And as you can see, it's an absolutely beautiful piece of kit. It does come in a few cool colors, including the Symbiote colorway and the Nerve colorway. So if you do want one, please don't hesitate. We have only around half of our allowance left, and once they're gone, they're gone. They ain't coming back. That's it. So please do take a look at those if you're interested. The other thing as well, we did put a new group buy live this morning, which is Rainy Day R2. So Rainy Day is now live. There is no UK ISO in base kit this time, but we are doing the new GMK International kit. So this is GMK's new standardized international kit, which means it's only 45 quid instead of being like 70 quid or something like that. So it's significantly reduced in price. We're basically selling these at cost. So UK ISO keys are available, and due to Gion being an absolute legend, we've managed to keep the base price really down on this as well. So it's $115 in the US, which is about 94 quid plus tax in the UK, which is 113 quid. So yeah, so if you're interested in that, do take a look. Rainy Day is so good looking. Dude, R1 was a set that I wish I'd bought. Look how nice this is. I really wish I'd bought R1 and I didn't. So now that R2 is here, yeah, I'm going to definitely pick up a personal set. Zed says, Jay, is it possible to reach you quickly for a question on Discord? It's regarding some vendor stuff and I'd like to get your okay. Feel free to drop me a DM, Zed. I'm technically not at work until tomorrow, so I'm trying not to answer Discord messages on my day off, if that makes sense. But if you do DM me, I will pick that back up as soon as I'm available. So, yeah. Gion is immensely based, God bless him. Gion just has enough capital in the bank to make things happen sometimes, which other vendors don't. Time to take my R1 to the MK UK meetup. Yeah, absolutely. Cool. So that's the coverage of some of the stuff that's live anyway, just so you guys can take a look. Right, onto what we're actually going to do today, which is not that. Get rid of that. The other day we were building Samson's Sagittarius, and we had a key that didn't work. Now it's now on me to fix that key. So I'm going to grab that and we're going to fix it. God, I've forgotten how heavy this board was. So if I remember correctly, it was the J key, I think. But basically, it's got a bent pin. I did try to flood it with some solder, see if it was just slightly bent or fully bent. Didn't work. So what we're going to do is we're going to actually desolder it properly, and then we're going to resolder the pin and put the switch back in correctly. So time to take the keyboard apart first and see what I mean about the colors. Like, I really need to get the colors of this space fixed, because they are slightly out at the minute. That's just due to the new capture card though, so we'll fix that in due course. I think this is a screwdriver we need. Feels good. Yeah, Zed, I think at the minute I've got something like 175 DMs to try and get through when I'm next in. I'll try and look at it today. I can't promise I'll be able to look at it. But if it's something you need an urgent response on, then I'll try. Maybe I should look now. I feel like it's going to be really bad if I don't look. Okay, I don't see the DM. Yeah, I don't see the DM. Or do I need, is it a new message request? Oh, okay, hold on. Right, I'm having a look right now. I'm having a look. I'm not going to read it out, but I'll have a look right now. Okay, Right, that is something way more in depth than I can answer right now. So I'm aware. Okay, I was aware of that before you mentioned it. I got a phone call about that exact situation when it happened, so I am aware. Right, okay, Zed. I will reply to that one after the stream. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, it's fine. It's fine. Thank you. Like if there's anything that if there's anything that needs my attention this quickly, it's that. To be fair, like Zed is not wrong. Like, it is something that does. Well, it doesn't need my input, but thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, Zed. Straight after the stream, I will. It's the first thing I'll get back to. Yeah, okay. I agree with you. It is urgent enough for you to message me like this. That's fine. Yeah, like some things wouldn't be, like if it was just a, hey, can I get an update on my order, like that, absolutely no. But this, no, you're right, it is very urgent, and it's not a rickroll. No, it's Zed uses peer pressure, it's super effective. No, I disagree. Zed was not using peer pressure. Zed was being very, very conscientious about something, which is really fair of him. So he's actually been doing the right thing. Yeah, okay, right. It's on top of my list of things to do straight after the stream. Right, okay, back to the stream. Yeah. So, fun fact said, no, this is going to make sense to no one else, but interestingly enough, at the time that was announced, I was in the car, and I got a phone call about it from someone else who's very active in the hobby. Let's just say, you can make your own suggestions on who that might be. So yeah, it was an interesting day. Oh, we've already taken that script. We've done them all. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Right. So we're just going to flip off the base, but we're going to take the base off the top, just like so. Put the top case to one side. Don't forget, guys, if we do get to the subs goal today, we are going to give away 3 GMK sets as well. And then what we're going to do is we're going to lift up the plate and PCB assembly. I'm just going to be really, really gentle with this. There we go, because it does wedge in nicely. I'm just going to slide out the JST cable. And then we're going to just check. I'm pretty sure it was the J key. Can anyone remember from the stream? Yeah, it was. I can tell. I can tell from the way it's soldered that it was the J key. So, next job now is you can see here, because it's actually rounded on the top. There's like a big ball of solder where it's not sunk onto a pin properly. So now it's time to desolder it, which means getting out the trusty desolder gun, or actually the terrible desolder gun, because the trusty one isn't trusty at the minute because it's broken. So we're going to be using this today, and we're actually going to have to use this as the soldering iron as well, because the power supply for that has broken. A new one is on the way. So this is, if you're ever going to buy a desoldering gun, don't buy one of these because they're terrible. And we're going to use this to solder as well, which is not recommended, but it is required today.
Tasty.
So yeah, do not buy one of these properly. Yeah, so the real reason is the soldering iron was fine, and the old soldering iron broke. The rear of the plastic housing broke, and it just wasn't secure for the power supply. And then what happened with the power supply is I stood on it. It was behind here on the floor, and I stood on it, and I bent the thing and snapped the cable. I could fix it. I could. But to fix it properly, I'd need to solder it, and, well, I need a power cable to put my soldering on to solder it. So, yeah. I'm sorry this is so loud. I don't know if this is hot enough yet. Okay. That is the switch desoldered. Where's my switch puller gone? Hold on a sec. Just going to pop the keycap off. Yes, I know this is a switch puller. And as you can see, the pin was bent completely over. So we're just going to straighten that up, pop it back in, and then use the desoldering gun to resolder it. Please don't do this at home. This is not the correct tool for the job. And again, we've got the solder. I just found an old reel of solder. This is really fine stuff actually. I shouldn't be using this really, but it'll do for now. In fact, this is super fine. Right, doing the dodgy here. This is not the way to solder. This is really not the way to do it. Christ, I'm having to use a lot of solder because it's so fine. There we go. There we go. That should now work. Sounds exactly the same as IRL, such an immersive stream. Absolutely. The Hacko is not a good tool. Do not buy one. Just buy the cheap ones, they're way better. I actually gave a couple of cheap ones away quite recently. And they're significantly better. Significantly better. Engineer SS2 Master Race. Yeah, the SS2 is fine. Like for the vast majority of people, the SS2 is overkill. I end up doing quite a lot of desoldering work, so yeah. Right, so that should be that particular key fix. So we're going to plug the JST cable back in, and then we're going to put the keyboard back together, and we're going to test it. Right, let's grab switch hitter up. You guys should be able to see switch hitter. There it is. Let's move it to the top so you can see as I press the keys. Okay, using an ANSI layout here today. Let's grab the cable and make sure everything's working. Yeah, page up, page down. They're FN keys, so if I remember rightly, they changed the LEDs, so I think that's fine. Okay, all working there. All working there. Caps lock's working as well. Here's the real test, and then you can see the keys working now, which means that the board is good to send out to the customer. Everything is working as expected. So there we go. Whole board's working. It's all good. Took a little while. I did the same the other day with the gun I got from you. Yeah, those guns that I gave you, JQ, they're far better than the Hacko, like significantly better. So if anyone ever wants one, I'll show you guys it. So the on RS components, I think it is. Oh, the keyboard's not plugged in. Silly Billy J, what are you doing? Yeah. So let me share my browser. So the best desoldering station you can get, in my opinion, and I've tried them a lot, is this. Now, this is 210 quid. This is actually a rebranded one. Don't buy the RS Components one. I'm just showing you because it's easy to show you on here. So the RS Pro desoldering station. I actually did give one of these away. I can't remember whether this one went to JMS or Tink, but there was this one and the other one. Now this is a rebranded of the same one you can get on eBay, which is really cheap. Oh yeah, looking at electric car parts. That's not important. Like half my eBay is car parts. Okay, so desoldering gun. I think this will bring it up. So the one to actually buy is this one, 90 quid, 140 watt, 90 quid. The Aris Pro one is exactly the same specs. Like if you look at it, you can tell it's a rebadged unit. But this one, 90 quid. This tool here, better than the Hako by far. The station, the actual station itself, is significantly more powerful than the Hako, especially for the pump from the gun. The only slight downside to this is it does get gunked up more. So the three tools here, you're going to clean the nozzle on this quite a lot. But other than that, better tool, way better value for money. The Hako is 4 or 5 times the price. It works no better. It works no better. It's heavier. It's you know, it's fine if you need to be on remote places, but if you're standing at a station doing stuff, this is just like by far the best thing. The pads are all replaceable. The tips are all replaceable. They're all dirt cheap. The glass vial is even replaceable. And yeah, this is the one to buy. If you are going to do serious amounts of desoldering, buy one of these. Don't buy the Hako. That would be my advice to you. There are irons with gun-shaped handles. Yeah. God dang, that thing was bent. It was, but it's fixed now. If you haven't misused tools, have you really lived? Yeah. It is. I'm a fan of the FR, however you do need the wider barrel tip to get good flow. Yeah. I got the Hako because I was dumb, but since then me and my dad have made good use of it anyway. That's fine. Like if you've got one, using it is fun. Using hot air is probably a dumb way to desolder switches, but I'm guilty of doing it. Yeah, hot air is great if you're desoldering like a chip or something. It's not, it's overkill for a switch. I think they're still on sale on AIM tools for 70 quid. They may well be. Let's have a look. Yeah, 70 quid. There you go. In stock, 70 quid. There. I got a replacement gun with all the components for £15. Means I got a spare one as well. Nice. Nice. And if you're not going to do much desoldering, just get a nice solder socket. Yeah, an SSO2, 20 quid, right? Is that how much they are now? Let's have a look. SSO2. Engineer. Let's have a look. How much are these? It doesn't find one. Let's just do a Google search. £17 quid from the Pi Hut. Perfect. Absolute bargain. Like if you are fine using the soldering iron to get your heat and you just need a solder sucker, jobs are good. If you're soldering desoldering a whole PCB rather than just the odd switch, get one of the guns because like it will save you the time and you will vastly prefer it. Like the difference in time would be probably an hour and a half doing like a full TKL with a solder sucker versus 20 minutes, if that, 15 minutes probably with the electric gun. So it depends on how much your time is worth, but yeah, if you're doing more than one PCB, 100% get the desoldering gun. Yeah, 80 quid or whatever the other link was. I think it's gone now. Wait, where did we go? Where did the other link go? I can't find it. Anyway, oh, there it is. There it is. So yeah, 70 quid in stock, brand new. Bargain of a tool. Bargain of a tool. Yeah, the Hako. The Hako is overkill. It's not worth it, and it's heavy. Like for full day use, it's not a nice tool to use. Is it technically the better tool? Maybe. Is it the nicer tool to use? No. No, absolutely not. It does come in a nice carry case though, which the others doesn't. But you know, if you've got it set up on a desk or you can put it in a box, whatever, it's fine. So yeah, that would be my advice to you guys. Okay, now we've done that, we can pop the top case back on. And we can get this thing soldered together. The Hako comes a lot better if you get the longer tip. I have most of the stuff for the Hako. They're just, the others are just better. It's just a better tool. It's just a better tool. And it's a better price as well. Like, what does the Hako go for now? I don't even know. What does the Hako go for? £361 plus VAT. So what's that including VAT? 361.95 multiplied by 1.2. £435. Divided by 70. Is it 6 times? Is it worth 6 times what this is? No. 100% not. It is not worth 6 times. Like, if I could have 6 of these, I would never need another desoldering gun in my life. If I bought one of these, it's probably going to fail after a few years. So, yeah. Don't buy the Hako, folks. It is not worth it. It is not worth it. Right, okay, so we've got the top case back on. It's time to solve this all together. Don't forget, guys, we are giving away a prize today, which will be a GMK set for whoever asks the best question. So if you have a question you would like me to answer, please ask away. And whoever asks the best one gets a free GMK set. In terms of costs, we'll cover the cost of the shipping, we'll cover the cost of the key set, and you guys will just need to pay your import fees if there are any where you're based. Is this question best question? Yeah, whoever asked the best question. That one's not the best question. Why is that not screwed together? I don't think anyone's asked a decent question yet, like in that kind of vein. But yeah, whoever asked the best question, you can win a free GMK set. Any of the in-stock GMK sets. Can this be a tribute to the best question? It is, but that makes it by de facto they're not the best question, right? But yeah, if there's anything you guys want to know, just please do let me know. Ask away. Open business book context, effectively. I put that screw? I did. Where do you see keyboards in 5 to 10 years' time? Any revolutionary changes? 5 to 10 years' time, probably a relic of our past. Realistically, I think if you look at the way that AI is developing, we are going to, especially with the latest OpenAI announcements this week, I think we're going to enter a post-input device world pretty soon. I think we'll still have people who like them, just like we have people who like vintage keyboards now. But in terms of like actual mainstream keyboard technology, it's going to go away as people are going to just start talking to the machines a lot more. Right now, and historically, text to speech or text input to a PC for contextual meaning hasn't really been a big thing. And I think that with the way that these ChatGPT and other GPT type tools are coming on, keyboard input is going to fade away pretty quickly. Like if we can just start talking to the machine and tell it what we want it to do, that's how we communicate every day. So why wouldn't we just do that? So you can't always say everything aloud though. Yeah, I think there will be but people are just going to use their mobile devices more for that. Like if there's something that you can't say aloud, you'll just use your mobile device to input it. Like big chunks of text, you aren't going to need to write anymore because the program is going to write it for you for the vast majority, right? I need a new legal document that allows me to do X, Y, and Z. Oh, here's a draft for you, and then you're just going to edit the draft, right? Input devices are going to change massively. I think keyboard and mouse, as historically amazing as it's been, I think its days are numbered, ultimately. Short term, 2 to 5 years, probably not, but 5 to 10 years, yeah, I can see that happening. There's just going to become a day where we interact with computers in a completely different way to how we do now, and we aren't going to need input devices. Certainly not in the way we've got them right now. I think things like controllers for video games will still exist. People are always going to need those kind of things. But in terms of pure typing experience, I can see it dying out. So yeah. Ignoring sound, what is your favorite switches to type on for an extended period? If I'm typing for extended periods, I love a mid to heavy linear, something around 68, 72 grams, something like that. Gateron inks are probably my go-to. Perhaps Gateron X round 2 or even the round 1 ones. Yeah, those are probably two of my favorites. Either that or just good old cherry blacks. There's something that people just, love about cherry blacks, so perhaps those. Outside of hobby and car purchases, what single item have you bought or were given that made the biggest positive impact on your life or made a mundane task so much better? Buying my first house is probably that. For a lot of my life, I rented. Until I was 25, I rented in Leeds City Centre. I used to have an apartment in Leeds. After that, I rented a couple of houses in different areas of Leeds, Horsforth most particularly. Then I bought my first house, I think 2007, I think, something like that. I probably shouldn't have bought that one because I bought it with an X and that didn't go down well. Is what it is. But yeah, buying a house and getting on the property ladder before the 2008 market crash was what was a big thing for me. I think that in itself helped massively. So yeah, so I used to also have a flat that I owned in London. I no longer own that. That was in Shoreditch. I wish I'd kept it, because now it would be worth probably about £750,000 more than I sold it for. So you live and learn, though. You live and learn. But yeah, like that had the biggest impact on my life, mainly from a security point of view. I always had somewhere to go, somewhere that no one could tell me I couldn't be there anymore. And when I rented previously, we'd had bad experience with landlords just saying, no, sorry, we're selling up, or we're moving on. I live with friends. And sometimes they said, oh, sorry, my girlfriend's moving in now, can you move out? I lived with the girl I grew. This is a really weird one. So there was a point, I think around 2007-ish, where the girl I grew up in inherited the house that she'd grown up in, like literally across the street. But the girl I grew up with, she was called Hannah. Beautiful girl, probably the first person I ever fell in love with. And she used to live opposite me, and when we were like 15, 16, like I could see into her bedroom from my bedroom. We used to wave to each other all the time and stuff like that. Anyway, quite a few years later, she inherited the house off of her parents, and she asked if I wanted to move in, and I did, and it was great for about 6 or 7 months. And then she started dating a new chap, and of course she wanted me to leave and move out and stuff like that. So it was a kind of like a whole thing. But anyway, I ended up moving out, and that was what led to me buying my first house. So yeah, getting on the property ladder and not being able to be told by people whether I could or couldn't be in the place that I'd lived for so long, that was probably the biggest, most significant thing. I know you want to approach MyKeyboard.eu about some financial backing, but have there ever been talks of mergers between yourself and some of the other stores, Oblo for example? Broadly speaking, no. Like we've been approached in the past about people buying us out. Like that's happened on 2 occasions, for good money as well. But it never happened. Mainly because I didn't want to sell out. So I like doing this. I like this being my business, and I don't want to work for someone else necessarily. So yeah, so we did get a couple of offers back in the peak days of the hobby during back end of COVID maybe. I've offered a couple of companies financial help and support previously, Noxery being one, and that went very badly. So yeah, like they didn't take me up on the offer, but it led to a lot of stuff. If you don't know the history, let me know and I'll tell you that history on that one, but it's very frustrating. MyKeyboard.eu, I'm glad I didn't get involved, unfortunately. Like there's just so much there that I don't want to unpack on stream, but yeah. Yeah. No, sadly not. Envy says, a couple of businesses I work with switched over to completely AI chat-based customer support, and it works shockingly well. Yeah, so we're actually testing this out on the website right now. This is very, very much a case of the fact that I don't have the money for a test environment, so we are testing it in live to see how it goes. But if you go to the Prototypist website and you look on some product listings, it's not available on all of them. I know it's on the Petals one because that's the first one we put it on. So you go on the Petals page, there is the little chat bot in the bottom corner. Now, I'm in the process of working with the developers to make sure that this is coded correctly, but it is unbelievable what the chat bot can and can't do. So yeah, it's absolutely something that I'm keen to work with, and at the minute, like I can't keep up with demand. We used to have a chat feature on the PT website that was managed by me. Basically, anytime you chatted with anyone on the website, it would come through to me because I didn't have anyone to employ to do it, and Sharon and Mel, neither of them would have wanted to do it. So yeah, so I used to answer all those manually, but there was so many I couldn't get back to them. Like we were getting, like I was going to sleep and I was waking up to 50 messages, so there was just no way for me to do it. So I turned it off and we went back to just email. The rise of the AI support chat bots means that I can very cheaply provide a service to customers. Now, it's not perfect and it never will be, but it will answer 90% of the common questions, and basically what it does is it scrapes the product page that you're on and it scrapes the FAQs and it tries to answer the questions that you're asking based off those 2 pages. It's taking some time to tailor it and wind back what it will and won't do, but we're absolutely working on that, and it's very much in test at the minute. So yeah, I'm very, very conscious of how they are, Envious Designs, and I'm keen to make the most of technology like that to help customers. But what it says, with the state of politics and capitalism, do you see the state of hobbies such as keyboards, bespoke coffee surviving? I see some collection-based things thriving, such as watches, but not all the hobbies are partaking now. So this is an interesting question. Hobbies will always fluctuate, and that means you have peaks and you have troughs, right? So you have peaks where activity is high, and you have troughs where activity is low. And what you'll tend to find is that when one of your hobbies is having a peak, another one is having a trough. That's not because they're directly causally linked, because they're not, but it's contextually based on your experiences, and it's also for the fact that, you know, different people have different priorities at different times. If there's a massive keyboard in the keyboard community that comes out and sells 20,000 units, you expect interest to wane slightly for a little bit. If there's a big pandemic on where everyone's all of a sudden working from home, you expect interest to increase. There's certain hobbies that will never die. Watches are probably an example of that. People like them as adornments, as jewelry. I love watches, like I've got a big thing for them. Keyboards, I think, you know, people are going to love them for a long time, even when we get to a point where people generally don't need a keyboard to input information. We'll still have those diehards like myself who will want a keyboard, and a nice keyboard at that, and probably a lot of you guys. So I think that's going to be fine. But yeah, hobbies have swings and roundabouts. Look at cars. Cars are my other big hobby. They always have been. And the market for cars goes up and it goes down. Like, I spent a lot of money on my Laurel that I shouldn't have spent at the time, but it was one of the last 3 cars in the UK. There's only 3 of them. So I spent the money and I got it. And it's probably worth maybe 10 or 15% less than what I paid for it now, but the swing on the market will mean that in 10-15 years time, if I look after it, it's probably going to be worth 50-60% more than what I paid for it. So yeah, most hobbies will swing up and down. I think the survival of hobbies is endemic to the product and how useful it is to everyday life. There are other hobbies such as, you know, toys that become fads, and I think what you're doing there is you're conflating fads with hobbies, and that's not necessarily the best way to look at it. Look at the Pogs that we open on stream. Like, anyone who's a 90s kid will remember the Pogs. You know, you'll remember these, right? They were a fad, absolutely a fad. They were a cool fad, but they were a fad nonetheless. They were never a hobby. So that's the difference, I think. Do I prefer getting V1 or V2? I would challenge anyone to have a blind test to be able to tell the difference, because I don't think I could. So let's say getting V1 is my preference, but realistically, if you put 2 keyboards next to me side by side that were built exactly the same, and they were the same keyboard, and the only difference was the switches, I'm not guaranteed. I don't think I'd be able to consistently tell you the difference. I actually don't know that history. If you or everyone else doesn't mind repeating it. So is that the history of Noxry? So yeah, so last year towards the back end of summer, Zondat, who ran Noxry, was having some financial issues for his keyboards. He had a keyboard store in the UK called Noxry, and he'd run that for probably 7 years prior. Always on the group buy model, never on the in-stock model, or primarily. I'd known Zondat for 7, 8, 9 years at that point, maybe somewhere around that. He'd been to my house on an occasion. I'd met up with him for like car stuff. He'd done like a couple of car meets here at PTHQ. I wouldn't say we were friends, but we were pretty well acquainted. So I knew he was having issues, and I just basically reached out to him and said, look, I know you've had all of these keyboards delivered because you've announced that. If you want, my team is set up to ship stuff out really efficiently. We have some great processes here. All you need to do is drop it off, and we will do the QC, we'll pack it and ship it. All you need to do is drop it off, give us the customer data, we'll do it, and then you can pay me back at your leisure for the cost of the shipping. It doesn't have to be immediate. You can take 6 months, 12 months, whatever it needs to be to pay me back. And he seemed to think that was a great idea. Unfortunately, the kind of information I was getting back off him kind of started to wane, and he didn't provide a lot of the detail. I just happened to be in Manchester, where he was based, with a van one day, and I said, look, dude, this was maybe 2 weeks later, I'm in your area with a van tomorrow morning. Let me know if you want me to come and pick stuff up, and I will just take care of it. You don't have to worry about it. And then he didn't do that. He never replied back to me. He never replied back to anyone after that point, as far as I understand it. And it kind of went down the pan. At this time, a lot of people were reporting Zondat to the police for fraud and various other crimes that they perceived that he committed against them for taking their money, which is completely fair, I agree. And a lot of them were trying to explain to the police the situation, that I'd offered to fulfill their orders, but now I wasn't fulfilling it. So basically they'd said, oh, I bought this product from Noxery Keyboards, they were supposed to fulfill it, they didn't. Jay at Prototypist stepped in, he was supposed to ship it out, he hasn't shipped it out, blah blah blah. Anyway, ultimately that led to the police coming to visit me here at PTHQ, demanding that I show them the keyboards, demanding that I show them the contract between myself and Noxery. Of course there was neither. I had no contract because I hadn't seen him, I had no keyboards, I couldn't do anything. And the upshot of it was that they agreed at the time that I had no liability to ship these products, which I don't. But that it would be under my best interest to seek some legal advice, as depending on how customers continue to report it, I might end up being liable for producing their keyboards and making sure they got their products. Now, luckily, when I had a chat with the people who had a little bit of like power to post stuff in the Noxery Discord server and explain the situation, they kind of like dropped that back a little bit, and people stopped reporting me as being part of this issue, only that I was trying to help and be a nice person more than anything else. So it was really difficult. I've never had to have the police visit me for anything before like that. Actually, that's a lie. I have for one thing, but that was different. Never had to have the police visit me for business purposes. The previous thing that the police visit me for was when I used to have my own pub back in 2003, and some bloke went home and killed his wife, and the police came and interviewed me the next day because he'd been in a pub doing pub quiz the night before. Very, very different thing. Anyway, so that was what happened with Noxery. I never got the products off of him and was never able to help, but yeah, we got reported for doing something that we hadn't done. It was difficult. Yeah. Alvi, hey man, good to see you. I have interacted with AI customer support that was horrifically bad, but the good ones are very useful. They can point me to the way very directly. Yeah, and that's what I want this one to become ultimately. Unfortunately, I have to test in production because I don't have a test server for Prototypist. Like, I just don't. So, and I can't afford to spin one up. So, yeah, like that's why we're testing it in live, because that's the way, right? So yeah, what's the biggest thing missing from the custom keyboard market? What do you wish you could get that just isn't available? Biggest thing missing from the custom keyboard market: manufacturing being cheaper, and this is endemic to pretty much everything. But with whatever you're manufacturing, you get economies of scale, and the more you produce, the cheaper it becomes per unit to produce it. The issue is, in the custom keyboard world, people want things that are still seen to be exclusive, but they want them at the mass-produced prices. So products such as the Wook Studios Zoom series and the QWERTY Neo range, they've shown that we can produce boards now that 5 years ago would have been $400 or $500 options, and for most vendors only making 100 units, they would still be $400 or $500 options. Something akin to the Pedal 60 we looked at earlier on. But they're producing them at such a volume, and they have such a reach that they're able to get the price down to 100 quid, 120 quid, something like that. It varies depending on model. And the access to that manufacturing is limited in a couple of ways. One is the MOQs, and two is what's laughingly and probably slightly racistly akin to as the Western tax. And basically what that means is that a lot of the Chinese companies will make things for Chinese companies at cheaper prices than they will charge Western companies. And when you don't own your pipeline end to end, and you're relying on a manufacturer that is technically a third party in a country that's thousands of miles away, they do have an element of power over you. In terms of setting their pricing. Now, they know that it's still going to be cheaper than producing anything here in the UK or the US, for example. But yeah, access to cheap manufacturing is one of the difficult parts, because it makes it really difficult to make the products that we have look competitive. People don't often see that exclusivity factor of having something that's only one of maybe 150 units, 200 units most made is worth, paying 5 times the price of something that's available to 20,000 people. So that's probably the thing that I'd like to make more available. And the other thing as well is people want to make one-offs and stuff quite a lot of the time, and it gets really expensive. You want to make a single one-off F13 TKL, for example. Realistically, let's say you need to make 2 prototypes to get a unit that works correctly, and you want to design that as well. You're going to be spending $2,000, right? Just in prototyping and design costs. It's a lot of money. Like reducing that barrier to entry is absolutely something that I'd like to do. Forgot how annoying Twitch ads were. Sadly, I've hit a level in the partnership chase that because I'm an affiliate and I'm almost at the partner level, I now can't turn ads off. I've lost the ability to do that. So yeah. Shisha worked customer support briefly and had swathes for questions a drinking bird and an enter key could have answered. Such is life. Such is life. I guess fad hobby is probably a good line to draw. Yeah, I think that was it, yeah. No good deed. Damn dude, sorry I had to deal with that. You had a pub. Yeah, my first job out of college was having my own pub. So I used to have... I'll show you it, actually. I will show you the pub I used to have. So it still exists. It's still a pub. It's called the Old Bridge Inn at Kirksall. It's changed somewhat from when I had it. But yeah, this is the pub. As it exists today, this is their website. This is the outside garden. That wall was there when I was there. But it's a really nice pub. All the stained glass is still exactly as it was when I was there. The windows are all the same and everything else. Yeah. In fact, I'll show you it on the maps actually because it's quite interesting on Google Maps. Because one of the things we used to have quite a lot, it's right on the riverbank. Why is it there? Yeah, it's right on the riverbank. Where are we? Yeah. I'm lost. No, I'm not. I'm here. Here it is. So, if I flick on to the satellite view, this is the pub here. This is the pub I used to run. It's literally called the Old Bridge Inn because it's on the bridge. And it's Kirksall. This is the area, it's called Kirksall. This building here, this new building to the right hand side, this all wasn't here. The rugby pitch was, but this is the pub as it was when I was there. There used to actually be like a sign that went over the road here into the car park. It doesn't exist now. What we used to have quite often is the river here, the River Aire, flows down this way, so it comes top to bottom on the screen. And what would happen is it would flood all of this area in the garden. So this wall here, this kind of wall that my cursor's drawing here, is actually a flood defense, and so is this wall here. There's actually the gate through it is the same as if you go to a lock on the canal, so you can raise the boats up the canal. It's the same thing, right? And there is pictures, or there used to be pictures on the Yorkshire Evening Post of me taken from on this bridge here. So someone was stood somewhere around here, taking a picture of me holding on to a table that was trying to float down the river. Because it was trying to go down the river, and of course the basement and the cellar used to flood and all of this kind of stuff. But yeah, this is my pub. It was owned by a company called Wharfdale Taverns at the time, and so I didn't own the building. I was just the licensee for the business. But yeah, that's that. It's changed quite a lot from these days. I'll show you on Street View. So this is it. We used to have a big sign all across the front that said the Old Bridge Inn at Kirksall. There is a new sign up. This is kind of like in between. This bit was an extension that was built in the 60s, I think. The building itself is very old, 1700s. And the flat up here is where I used to live when I had the pub for a little bit. Yeah, you can see this is now all gone. This was there when I was there. The clock hasn't worked since about 2001. But yeah, this is now all gone. The gates are all gone now. It's just an open drive. So yeah, but it's now all changed. That was my first job. The street view photo in the garden, it's nice. It's nicer now than it used to be, I'll be honest. Yeah, we used to struggle. Like, will street view actually go into there actually? Oh yeah, it will. Yeah. So this is the wall that I was telling you about. This wall is technically a flood defense. It's further down on the far side than it is on this side, and you can see there this gate that you can see the top of. That's actually built exactly the same as a lock gate would be for the canals to change the water going up and down. But this is all much nicer than it used to be. When I was here as well, this bit here, there was another part of the building out here. That was where all the bins and everything else were housed, and the entrance to the cellar is here. This is the back entrance to the cellar, so the dray wagons would come down and you'd roll the beer caskets down there. And then we had a bar upstairs and a bar downstairs. So yeah, this was the kitchen up here. That was a kitchen at the time. I don't know if it still is. Yeah, brings back some memories. That's 20 years ago now. 20 years since I worked there. And that used to be a brewery back in the 1800s. It is no longer a brewery, it's now student residences, but that used to be a brewery. So yeah. It's a shame I can't get a little bit further over, because the person who took the picture of me was up on this bridge up here somewhere, probably a little bit behind the building actually, and I was down the far side of this wall, trying not to float down the river, holding onto one of these style beer tables. So yeah, that was fun times. That was fun times. That was my first real job out of school. So yeah, no good deed goes unpunished. Sadly, that's true. Have you seen the Neo Ergo? Yes, we will be the vendor for it. Pork Thief. Yeah, the Neo Ergo. We will. It's not. I disagree with the name a little bit because it's not really Ergo, but it's a great product and it's a really good board. So yeah, 22nd I think it opens. So about a week. If Jay didn't know about the Neo Ergo, he's clearly not been reading half the message in this Discord. Fun fact: I don't get to read every message in the Discord. I'd never do. I haven't seen anyone match the quality of QK, the annual quality of QK, the price range. It's difficult, yeah. Is there anything you wish the consumers knew that they may have a misconception about from the business perspective? It's an interesting question. Most customers know what they're getting into when they're looking for a custom keyboard. Like, they've been investigating it for a while and they know what they're looking for. I think the biggest thing that we have on the site that is hard for people to understand, and because I can't find a better way of doing this, is differentiation between what is a group buy and what is not. So probably one of the most common things that happens is someone will be looking at something that's an in-stock product because it says in stock, and then they'll go, oh, but it's sold out. Oh, but it's sold out. How can it be in stock and sold out? And that's just because I haven't updated the website and removed this item from the website yet. Like, I have to go in and remove tags to get it off there. But the reason why we have in stock in the title of the name is to differentiate between group buys and pre-orders, because they're very, very different. And what I want to try and do is show that group buy products will be shipped within a couple of working days. Sorry, in-stock products will be shipped within a couple of days. The group buy stuff, this is going to be shipped at a later date. So the site's really chunked up into 3 different sections. And that's why we have these 3 sections here: in-stock items, group buys, and pre-orders. In-stock items mean it's sat on the shelf, it's in the workshop just to the side of me, it's ready to ship. Group buys mean it's a group buy. The order has not yet been placed with the manufacturer. You're giving your funds in advance in exchange for a discount, and I need to go away and order that from the manufacturer. Pre-order is a little bit different. Pre-order means it's already been paid for with the manufacturer, so it's going to get produced either way. You just need to wait a little bit of time for it, but probably not as long as you'd wait for a group buy.
Tasty.
So yeah, that's the different thing. It's so difficult to try and explain that, but I have not found a better way of chunking up products on the website. That is the best way I can chunk up products as far as I'm aware right now, and I can't think of a better way of doing it. I can't think of a better terminology to use other than in stock, group buys, and pre-orders. Like available, on the shelf, it all becomes, you know, verbiage that could mean different things. But yeah, trying to explain to customers that something that's in stock can sell out is sometimes difficult. But like, if you think about it logically, if I have 10 of a key set in stock and 10 people buy that key set, it's out of stock.
Incredible.
So yeah, that's probably the most difficult thing. Good question. I like that. So yeah. Oh, you weren't the landlord for the pub, but the manager. No, so I was the landlord. So I had the license. The license was in my name for the pub. It's probably still on the magistrate's website if you go and look. I had to go to Leeds Magistrate website, Leeds Magistrate's court to get my license. So yeah, so I was the landlord. The de facto landlord with the license, and the beer was sold under my license. I owned the business. I just leased the building. The building was owned by Wharfdale Taverns. Why the heck is it on the Isle of Wight, not Bradford? Probably because I was looking at something on the Isle of Wight. I think I was looking at how far a car away it was. Funnily enough, my partner works for Kirkstall Brewery now. Well, North Brewing Company, but that's owned by Kirkstall now. Yeah. So they're actually based just down the road from that. I mean, it was never attached to, like, this is before Kirkstall Brewery existed really, as a company, because that's quite a modern company. But yeah, so I think they actually own the pub now. You think you're right. And they're based like 2 or 3 miles down the road on Kirkstall Road. Yeah. There's a blue dot by the river for me. Nice. May have to make a trip there one day. It's a nice pub. I haven't been in probably 15 years, but it's a nice pub. How do you go about choosing to stock new and original products? This is a really difficult one because a lot of it is gut feel. I feel like I'm quite in tune with the keyboard market because I'm a keyboard fanatic. Like I love the things. Stupidly, I do, but I do. So I like to feel like I'm quite in tune with it, and picking products is often difficult because it's difficult to judge the market, and sometimes I get it right, and sometimes I get it wrong. For example, Retro 100 keycaps. I think it's an absolute banger. We've barely sold any. So I spent a fortune buying that product in, and it's barely sold any. So that was a risk that I took that didn't pay off. But then again, sometimes I get it completely wrong. Like GMK Symbiote, when that was in the group buy, it didn't really sell that well. When I bought extras, I bought a similar number as I did for DualShock, and it sold out within a day, within a couple of hours. Like the in-stock sold out within a couple of hours just before last Christmas. And so I got it wrong in the other way. I didn't buy enough. I will say for the vast majority of products, I get it right. Or I like to think I do. The aim here is to have stuff in stock for about 3 to 6 months. If we can have it in stock for a little bit longer, up to 12 months, that's good. If it sells out before 3 months, it means we probably didn't order enough. There are some exceptions to that, such as the QK range and the Zoom range, because they're on a continually ordered basis, so we've constantly got restocks of those coming. So they're a little bit different, and we're trying some things like that with GMK and other manufacturers soon. But yeah, so it's really difficult to choose products. A lot of it's based on gut feel, a lot of it's based on market feedback, a lot of it's based on Discord chatter. Like I have some bots that aggregate words in the background just to see what's popular. But it's all a risk. It's all a chance. It's all, you know, something we take a jump at. So there's no science to it, or no real science to it, because I don't think you could do that. No one knows what the next bang is going to be. All I can say is that we say yes to about 20% of stuff these days and no to about 80%. Yeah, so I hope that helps. Me literally looking at in stock, expecting it to be in stock. I mean, it probably was, but it's just probably sold out. Like the Zoom 98 sold out 2 days ago, and I haven't been in the office for 2 days, so that was why that showed us sold out. But it's really difficult to articulate to customers why we have 3 sections of the website. Now, I tried it with if people remember this far back, we used to just not have the in stock banner on the stuff that was in stock, and we used to get the other question. It's like, oh, this one doesn't say when it's going to ship. How long will I have to wait for it? And it's like, oh well, that'll ship immediately. Oh, you should say that it's in stock then. Okay, so we do that, and then the conflation that people have is that in stock means it's perpetually available, that it will never not be available, and of course that's not the case. Like stock products can sell out. You can go to McDonald's, and every now and again they will have run out of burgers to sell you until they get the next shipment in. So it's really difficult to come up with some verbiage that actually works to convey what the product is and its status. The group buy ones and the pre-order ones are pretty clear, but it's really difficult to do something for the in-stock stuff, because the only other option that's even close to acceptable is to just not name it as an in-stock product and just have a you know, an available thing, or if I retitle it to what's in the warehouse right now. But then people assume because I say it's a warehouse, they assume, oh, it's on clearance, it's on sale. So it's the best of a bad bunch. It's kind of like the middle ground, I think. Everything within retail sales is an exercise in compromise, and that's the best compromise I've found for that particular one. Remove those tags. I'll lose half the test data for the thing I'm working on. Yeah, let me know what tags you need me to reduce. Yeah. Was running the pub your job before getting into PM, or how did that come about? I'm looking to move from being a dev into project management, so I'm really just fishing for tips on how to make more of that. I do without going the Scrum Master route, which is one bit of advice to be given. Okay, so yeah, so the pub was my first job out of college. I left the pub to go work for the bank. Initially, the job at the bank was supposed to be on the phones, just being customer support, and ultimately that ended up being with me being there nearly 20 years and doing project management work for 15 of them, to the point where I became senior program manager and senior product owner. So I was in charge of, well, hundreds of millions of pounds worth of property. Effectively, the tech stack that was in all of the Halifax, Lloyds, and Bank of Scotland branches at some point was under my remit. So I was responsible for putting the customer-facing Wi-Fi, the back-end Wi-Fi on top of the wired networks back in there in like 2013, 2014. And then from there, designing, developing, and rolling out hit-to-hit banking, working really closely with Apple to develop some in-house apps, and deploying over 50,000 iPads to the branch network at the time. From there, I also owned a whole raft of other machines, such as TCR, which are basically the machines that count the cash behind the tables, and getting them all ready for polymer notes and ATMs and a million and one other things. So yeah, it was very different. In terms of my PM experience, we went from working in a vastly waterfall methodology, which is what I learned, through to agile and Scrum and beyond, with little bits of lean thrown in there as well. So a lot of my time was spent making sure that we could transition the teams from one of these processes to another and do that effectively and in a way that would increase productivity and decrease cost, which was always a big thing for the banks. Everything had to be a cost saving measure. So yeah, so we did that, and everything from, you know, working in workshops to, you know, any part of it you can name. Yeah, Scrum and Beyond was something that I didn't really particularly like, but I do think that Agile has kind of like a lot of ways working for it that are good. And I think that the best implementations of Agile mean that you don't realize you're working in an Agile way under the Agile banner. Like if you ask the team here, they don't know. They don't know that they're working in sprints and that we're doing retros and that Agile is how everything works. But we are. I'm just the only one that knows this because I keep track of it. So yeah, that would be what I look at. Nimble Machine, thank you so much for the tier 1 for 6 months. I appreciate that. In advance as well. 6 months in advance. Dude, thank you so much. Instead of in stock, ready to ship, then if it's sold out, not in stock. So the issue with ready to ship means that people expect it to ship immediately. Like as soon as they click buy, they want a tracking number, and like because there's only like 2 of us packing, myself and Mel. Like we pack 5,000 orders between us a month, which is a lot. Like that doesn't sound like a lot, but Mel only works 3 days a week. So when you actually conflate that to like full time and how many orders we get through a day, it's a lot. So yeah, so I think there is another compromise with that ready to ship that would put additional pressure on us as a team that I don't particularly like. I think the real solution to this is to try and automate that. If in stock products sell out completely, they're removed from the in stock list automatically, rather than me having to go and do it manually. I just never got around to figuring that out. Released or pre-release? Yeah, but released. The released is open to interpretation, I think. Bagels on toast. I'm not comfortable with that. I love the retro set. It is a banger. I Gadgetoid, from that one thing, you've aged yourself. You are somewhere between the ages of 35 and 50. Just from making that one comment. I suspect you're very close to my age, somewhere around the age of 39, 40, 41, based on that one comment alone. Beeskis, hey man, good to see you. Retro 100 is a great set. Would have thought it would be a popular one, although I think there's some issues with the text mod that tainted its popularity. Yeah, I mean, it also has there's icon mods and all sorts of stuff. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe use in inventory. In inventory. Interesting. That's not a bad suggestion actually. I almost like that. That's probably the best suggestion so far. Immediate shipping? No, because immediate shipping Beast Keys means that people will order at 3 a.m. on a Saturday morning and then complain at 5 p.m. on a Saturday afternoon that it's not shipped, and PT is closed on weekends, and people still don't read this. Like, people will order at midnight on Friday going into Saturday and then send me an email at 9 o'clock on Monday morning saying, why on earth is my order not shipped? So immediate shipping I don't like, because like we ship 99% of our stuff goes the next day. So if you order it, it's either going the same day or the next day. Like, that's generally how it works with us. Like, there's a lot of times, as soon as I hear the Vesta board tick around with a new order, I go and pick and pack it and ship it straight away. And if that's before UPS has been, great. But yeah, immediate shipping, people just assume Amazon. It must ship immediately. Like, it's going to ship. Like, I'm going to click buy and it's going to be with me. It's going to be on the road to me and arrive in the morning. And that's not always possible for us to do. Caffeinate? Yeah, I've run out of caffeine, but I will have some juice actually. Oh, that's better. Trouble is me loving a set and me not having the money to pick it up. Always the way. Always the way. What project, keycaps, keyboards, Switch are you personally most excited about? Switch, there is one that's coming that I can't tell you about, that it's under NDA, and I can't talk about it, but I'm very excited for it. As soon as it's available, I will talk about it incessantly. I do have one of them here, and I really shouldn't have it. That's something that's coming soon. Keyboard 2. We're going to be doing the JO1 Final Edition and the JO3, as well as a secret keyboard that I can't talk about yet. And the prototypes for all of these were ordered just a couple of days ago, about a week and a half ago now. And I'm hoping to have them all 3 of these keyboards at the UK meetup. And I'm really excited to get the J1 Final Edition and the JO3 out there. The other one, due to a limitation in the hardware, is probably never going to make more than 3 units, but it's really cool and I want to share it as well. In terms of keycaps, Midnight Rainbow Round 2 is coming soon. I just need to finalize the details. But there's always stuff coming that I love, you know. I think High Vis is really fun, and I like the legends MVKB's come up with, so yeah. Like, it's going to change every day. You ask me that question, it's going to change every time you ask me, because there's always so much stuff coming. I have urged myself. You absolutely nailed it. Yeah, 40 to sleep. Yeah. Like, it just from that comment alone, I can figure out how old you are. Anyone that's older than like 50 wouldn't appreciate the beige because they're kind of too old to be really into that computing age. Anyone that's younger than that prefers the bright colors because they're modern and trendy and on point. And then there's people in my age group who love anything beige because that's what we knew and grew up on in the early 90s. So yeah. In-store. In-store and in-stock are basically the same thing, but we're not also a shop, so there's not like a physical shop that you can come to, so I don't like doing that. But maybe. Do people not know how business days work? No. The vast majority of people these days when they're internet shopping do not know how business days work. They expect things to ship immediately. And I have a set script that I send to people when they ask, why isn't my order shipped yet? Because if I didn't have that set script, I would get more complaints at how I responded to them. So I have a set script that I'm allowed to send, and I don't adjust it or change from it. That's not always true either. Some sellers mark things as dispatched before they've even gone to the post office. Yeah. So here at PT, I can guarantee you will never get notification of a label being created unless your order is packed. The label is only created when your box is here, taped up, sealed, ready to go. That's when we create the label and slap it on the box, so you know that it's going out that day. Now, sometimes that does lead us to issues, because sometimes we'll be packing at midnight, and I will create a label, and then people say, and UPS, like I'll create it like 10 p.m. say, and UPS will go, oh, it's 10 p.m. on a Friday. This product's going to be delivered tomorrow, and it's like, well, no, it's not, because it's not going to get collected till Monday. So then I get complaints the other way around. So there is no good answer to it. Ship next business day. There are some occasions if we do a sale, or if someone's ill, or if something else happens where we don't get things within the next business day. That's why on in-stock products we say 1 to 3, or within 3 working days we'll dispatch products. It's 99% of them goes the same day or the next day, but there is always that element that I can't guarantee it, and yeah, that's the difference. Stream discounts are really only on Sundays, Clownfish. So yeah. Is Midnight Rainbow MTNU or CYL? I've asked for quotes for both. There is a chance we'll move away from GMK. There's a chance that we might do it through KKB, but we'll see. It all depends on how much stuff comes through. Working in retail, I felt that. Yeah. Beige is Bane. Beige is great. Someone dropped the Heine reply to the guy asking for shipping on his server. Oh no. Customer support can test your emotions. Do you do your own customer support? No other member of staff does customer support really. I do. I'm going to say 95% of it. There are occasions when I'm not around. Everyone has access to my email inbox. Like, it's just open to all of the staff. So there are occasions when Mel will pick an email out of my inbox and respond as me, or where Sharon will do it. But yeah, the vast majority of them I handle myself because they're busy doing other things. Sharon manages logistics for the company, so she's doing freight forwarding, tax invoicing, all of that kind of stuff. Mel's doing packing and warehouse management and stock control, and I do everything in between, which means running the back end, running Shopify, running everything else, and then Josh does all of our design work. So you know, it swings and roundabouts, but yeah, pretty much all of the customer support comes through me. There are times when I don't see it, like because Sharon deals with GMK on a daily basis. If a customer comes in and she's in my inbox and the customer says, oh, I got 2 F9 keys and I didn't get an F10 key in my GMK set, because obviously we can't check every key, she'll just pick that up and reach out to GMK and sort it out. But yeah, the vast majority of stuff, yeah, I handle myself. I've got a couple of PT shipping notification emails at like 1 a.m. before. Yeah, like I there are times when I'm here until 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, go home, get a couple of hours sleep, and I'm back for 8 o'clock. Yeah, that's just how it goes sometimes. Might have to adjust Protobot as it announced a discount for the stream. Thanks, Jumanji. I will do. Yeah, thank you. Good point. I'll have a look at that. Any chance of a PBT Midnight Rainbow outside of MTNU? Maybe. The issue with most PBT manufacturers is they can't match the colors. So we'd have to do it dye sub, and I don't want to do dye. Like if I'm doing it, it's double shot or nothing. That's the only way to do it. Thanks for pursuing the late shipping Rama caps. I can imagine that took some persistence. Dude, we've got so many things that are still outstanding from Rama. I actually have a full list. Hold on, let me get that up. Because I'm waiting for so much stuff from Rama. Let me find it. Yeah, so still from Rama, we're waiting for GMK Huhai, GMK Earth Tones, GMK Jags, GMK Foundation, GMK Stargaze, GMK Lazurai, and for GMK Red Alert, the brass artisans. Just the brass ones. We got the aluminium ones, but didn't get the brass ones. So we're still waiting for all of those. So it's hundreds and hundreds of keycaps. It's not like it's a small number. Chasing Rama is something I do every month without fail now. He gets an email. Well, it's more often than once a month. It's probably twice a month on average. It's about every 2.5 to 3 weeks, something like that. But yeah, he gets an email saying, "Where's this? Where's this?" He never replies. Never replies. Doesn't reply at all. Occasionally, we'll just get something shipped, and we'll get like a tracking notification. Sometimes stuff just turns up, and we're not aware of it. It's difficult. Have you tried delegating it? Customer support. Delegating, yeah, but it means we need staff to do that, right? And PT is already as lean as we can be. I don't want to add another member of staff into the mix right now. So yeah,
tasty.
I think I know what you were worried about. Sipula getting the news as well. The word is slowly spreading. Yeah. Okay. So for those that don't know, for those of you who don't know, I guess now is as good a time to announce it as any. It's technically not my news to announce, and it's definitely out there in the wild, so I'm not the first person to talk about this. But MyKeyboard.eu is in administration. They have finally declared bankruptcy. This happened 2 days ago. I got a phone call about it from someone else in the hobby. I'm not going to name and shame them, but someone else gave me a literal phone call about it because they'd seen a filing. So yeah, so you may have heard it here first, you may not have done, but yeah, MyKeyboard is officially in administration. So yeah, take that as you will. I apologize if you've got anything outstanding. It means that I've got 4 personal orders outstanding with them, which I'll never get now. So, yeah. Yeah. It is what it is. Is there anything you still think is lacking in innovation in the keyboard hobby? Accessibility. I like accessibility. It's far easier to design your own stuff now than it was 5 years ago, 6 years ago, but the accessibility side of it is really difficult. And I guess you could use accessibility in the other sense as well, as in accessibility settings that you'd have in an app or whatever for people with disabilities. So yeah, I think accessibility is probably the biggest thing that's lacking. Yeah, I received my GMK Huhai cap. Oh, sorry, have we shipped the Rama ones for that? Maybe the team's just not updated the spreadsheet. I apologize. Yeah. Have I tried stocking low profile keycaps? Yeah, we did in the past. They just did not sell. They just didn't sell. Like, people want high profile keycaps for the vast majority of things. If we're selling low profile, they tend to have to be with a board for it to work, such as the Monarchy systems designs. People just tend to want high profile keycaps. Is what I found. It may be that we don't sell low profile boards particularly as well, or split boards or anything else that's going to use low profile keycaps like chock switches and things. That's not. There's other companies in the UK like Mech Boards that specialize in that, and I don't want to step on their toes. So perhaps that's it. Took long enough to the surprise of absolutely nobody. Yeah. Does that mean they're not shipping anything outstanding? I think that means that no one will ever get a package out of them again. Yeah. I just can't see it happening. Like, if they're in administration, that's it. That's it. The business will wind up. All the staff won't be allowed to say anything publicly. So what generally happens is when administration happens, the administrators come in, and this could be one person or a group of people, and it will be usually court appointed or government appointed, depending on where you are in the world. And effectively what they do is they shut down all communication with customers and suppliers and other manufacturers and everything else. They just shut communication down, and they then take an assessment of where the business is. What does it have? Stock, assets, that kind of stuff. Do a full stock take. What have they got in the bank account? Is there anything else lying around anywhere? Company cars, all that kind of stuff. They'll also have a look at that. They'll say what's owed out, And of course, any taxes will be first off that pile. Then any major suppliers will be next off that pile, and likely the assets won't even cover that. So, that won't happen. So things like governmental taxes will come first, then things like rent and utilities for the buildings that they have. Then it'll be things like suppliers, and then last at the bottom of the pile will be customers. So like for me, who still hasn't got his GMK Luna order, even though they shipped the set years ago, I'll never get that now. Yeah. Dodged a bullet with them. I never did any group buys through them. Sadly, I did. Yeah. Did I see the post from Bion? The one that Manu posted on Bion's behalf? I did see it, yeah. Yeah, I did see that. I don't really deal with Bion direct. A lot of the stuff that we sell for him, he doesn't touch the funds because obviously he's having issues, and it would be improper of us to kind of like hand him the funds when he's having those issues. So stuff like the Gihan, for the current round, that's handled between all of the vendors and the manufacturer. Same for GMK Nerve, that's all handled between the vendors and GMK, for example, and then Bion just gets his royalty payments out of the back of that. So yeah, I'm aware of the situation with Bion. I feel sorry for anyone that's affected by it, but that doesn't mean that his product can't be sold in other ways like they are being. I've seen some people make custom hand-wired stuff for their kids or family members, and I'm always really amazed. Dude, some of the stuff that people make for, like, people who have disabilities or, impairments and things like that, it's amazing. It's fantastic. And the barrier for entry for that kind of shit needs to be brought down massively. 100%. Accessibility is indeed very hard. Working right now on input controllers for a person that has severe carpal tunnel for the PNSDs, a chance to at least... Yeah, I can imagine. But, imagine if you can kind of like come up with a solution for that's then refinable and adjustable and implementable in many different ways. That's the kind of thing that we need to be producing more. So yeah, it's surprising that you did not move a lot of low profile keycaps. Our customers comment that they find it hard to buy some, so they ask us to make more of them. We are very small. Dude, just drop me a message if you want to try and see if we can stock them for you. I'm more than happy to try. But yeah, the Gihan reminds me a bit of old LZ customs. In terms of shape, yes, I agree. In terms of aesthetic, I heavily disagree, because obviously it's based on that kind of biomechanical stuff. So it has its own theme. But yeah, in terms of aesthetic, I can, like, in terms of like the physical rectangle design, completely agree. Yeah, the old LZ stuff, absolutely. So yeah.
Incredible.
Incredible. Vince Moonshot, thank you so much for the follow. I appreciate that. So yeah, so has it been announced on the server yet about my keyboard? I don't even know if I'm in their server. I am still in their server. Have they talked about it? Someone has today posted, yeah. Tank House has posted at 3 o'clock, 25 minutes ago. Yeah. Yeah. Is Tank House watching? He often does. He often does watch, yeah. Yeah. So I suspect right now, like, if you are affected by my keyboard to Ian, like, just write it off. Just write it off, because you ain't gonna get it. Yeah. Oh man, there's all sorts of stuff kicking off now. Yeah, interesting. We'll see how it pans out, but yeah, I'm broadly not expecting... Yeah, I'm broadly not expecting anyone to get anything. Yeah. I haven't posted anything yet, but it's been discussed heavily. Yeah, I'm just kind of flicking through. Yeah, someone had a screenshot that you've been commented and said, yeah, it is what it is. I may as well answer your question now. Let me go through your questions, Ed. I'll give you the answer now. I think for me the key is to just keep it about mykeyboard.eu and say what's actually happened. So it's more of a case of saying, just being factual with it, dude. Like, it's got to be, this is what's happened, this is the document. We don't know what it means just yet, but now the insolvency practitioners are in, they're going to be the ones handling it, and as soon as we know anything public, we'll try and let you guys know. Yeah, like, I mean, the other side of it as well is like if other vendors are involved in certain projects, people can reach out to, like, if someone bought something from mykeyboard.eu and didn't get it, then if they reach out to me, I'll and I've got it in stock, I can sell it to them for group buy price, but I can't, I can't give that stock away, unfortunately. But yeah, if someone's missed something from mykeyboard.eu and they want it now, and we've got it in stock at a high price, then I'll give it to them for group buy price. So you feel free to let people know that if they're interested. But yeah, it is what it is. It's sad, but it's been a long time coming, and I think the writing's been on the wall for a while. So yeah, let's have a copium meeting this weekend and have a beer. Sounds good, man. Sounds good. Possible disability accessibility accommodations utilizing AI to tailor input. Dude, that sounds phenomenal. Yeah. Is Lava also a buy on board? Apologies, I know that's being sold by PC. We were going to sell that at one point. I don't know what happened. I'm sure we were going to sell that at one point. But yes, Lava is also a buy on board, as far as I'm aware. GMK Luna was definitely one thing I was waiting on. I was talking to a member of their staff about it a couple of months ago. Apparently they said it was because it was underneath the VAT threshold, but it wasn't. It was like 50 quid over it. So I don't know, but that's one thing that I'm waiting for. Yeah. So I think my advice said, and I will send you a message, is just keep it to the facts, keep it steady. Yeah. Definitely do mention that if people put chargebacks in, not to mention other vendors, because it can lead to blowback on vendors like it did with me in the Noxer situation. 100% agree with that. Don't do that, or ask people not to do that. But yeah, the main thing is, just letting people know. I think awareness is going to be key for this. There's going to be 1,001 questions that are going to come out of it that we can't anticipate here or now, and no one will be able to anticipate. So yeah, just be as fair as you can. Yeah. Conversations about business stuff is useful because I'd love to open a shop at some point selling keyboards and other stuff. Yeah, selling stuff's hard, man. Like, it's really hard. Make sure you've got plenty of money available to fund, like, yourself, just in case sales are slow to start with. That's the key, I think. Yeah. Because it's going to take months before you make a profit, especially in this market. Yeah, you're going to need to be well established before profit happens, and which is the same for any business. Like, if you're starting up any business, it doesn't matter what it is, you're not going to be profitable for the first X amount of time. So you kind of need to work out how you're going to fund that, and that's going to be part of your business plan and your funding scenario, whether you're funding it yourself or whether you're funding it through other means, like loans and stuff like that. You're going to have a business plan, and being prepared with a business plan is a step that many people forget. And a lot of vendors became vendors in the keyboard hobby in the heyday when they didn't have to do that, because people just bought anything anyway. So companies like Captus, companies like Taylor's company, what are they called? I've forgotten now. The guys who did the oceanographer with us, who then didn't do it because they failed to. I can't remember. But yeah, they kind of started out, and they set up these companies because they knew that whatever they listed would sell. So it was kind of like a zero investment, all the profit gain. Eternus, that's the one. Thank you. Yeah, so that was the opportunity they had, and they squandered it. They absolutely squandered it. They sat on it, and they made the wrong investments, and companies have paid the price for it now. Like Mexico as well. They literally started with zero capital, but they managed to make have millions of pounds of revenue in the first few years, and then lost it all because they didn't have a business plan. And because they didn't plan for the worst, they only planned for the best. And this is what's happened to my keyboard as well. In some respects, I suspect they've based their finances for future years on past years' performances, and because the performance kept growing every year, then as soon as it's not, they've fallen. And most people don't have that realistic target in the back of their heads because they're expecting growth. People only tend to forecast based on the good news. They don't tend to forecast based on the potential bad news, and that is a risk. And if you don't manage that risk adequately enough, and you don't have the correct protocols or mitigations in place, you're going to suffer. And that's what we're seeing here. That's what we're seeing. So yeah. Just don't match the man pint for pint. Yeah. If any of you could keep up with me beer for beer, I'd be very surprised. Plan for the worst, but we expect whatever. Yeah, like plan to lose money, because that's that's the reality of most businesses for the first couple of years that they're running. Depending on the industry, depending on the business plan, most businesses are going to lose money, and some businesses make a real killing out of making a loss. Look at Amazon. They made a loss for years, same as Uber. There is a business case. If you can grow fast enough and make enough losses that enough people will see your growth and your losses as opportunity in the future, you can make millions and you can capitalize on the market, and you can get to a point. This is capitalism backwards. It's so fucked, it's unreal, that you can spend that much money, that because it's sunk cost fallacy at play massive to such a great degree, you are not profitable. You've been running 10 years and you've lost 10 billion every year. That was pretty much the position that like Uber and Amazon were in, and then all of a sudden, Amazon's the biggest company in the world, or it was at the time. It just flipped it around. It's bizarre. It's bizarre, but that is a viable solution to endgame capitalism. Create a product or a company that has a niche, and destroy everyone else by putting your prices down low and knowing it's going to make a loss, but knowing that you can get the business funding to cover it, and then pray that one day you make a profit. Look at WeWork. They did the same thing, and they failed. Unfortunately, they didn't see the pandemic coming, and they didn't see the whole kind of work from home thing coming. And even before that, there was little bits of stuff that they had problems with. But the same thing, massive growth, massive potential, massive losses, but yet still seen as a viable investment. So it's either fail to such an extent that you're so big that failure can't happen to you in real terms, or just plan your business properly, right? It's an interesting one. Yeah, Amazon still makes a loss on some things, like Kindles. Yeah, but like all businesses make a loss on some products. Like loss leaders are absolutely a thing. That's just, again, business 101. You go into the supermarket and they'll have most of the things at Eyeline are loss leaders, and the stuff around it isn't. Yeah. It's funny that you mentioned that. We've been doing okay selling keycaps and always reinvesting all the money into the business, but now we paused our investments to build ourselves a money buffer in case we have bad months. Good for you, man. Yeah, right tack to do. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I have a set number that if the balance in the company account drops below that number, I worry. I genuinely lose sleep over it, and yeah, it's a thing. I'm not going to tell you what that number is, but it happens. Fun story about the early days of Amazon. They used to order one book and then 49 copies of a very specific out-of-print book about mycelium from a publisher, because they could only order in quantities of 50. The publisher didn't have said mycelium book, so they'd refund the cost for the 49 other books and just send the one book Amazon actually wanted. It took a couple of years before the publisher clocked onto this tactic. Dude, like that's the sort of thing now with data analytics. You'd know within days. Like you'd know the third time they did it. Yeah. Clever stuff. Interesting. Yeah, it doesn't surprise me though. Like Amazon are into some dodgy tactics overall. You put a well-performing Amazon store, and your product will get copied and cloned before you can say it's Christmas time, and they'll sell it at a low price point and to within 10% of the quality margin that you're working with, and they will absolutely put you out of business. It happens to lots of makers. They also do the same with Etsy as well, so it's quite interesting. You'll see a new group of products pop up on Etsy as a new kind of hobby explodes or something comes out of it, and then all of a sudden you'll see that those sorts of products start getting sold on Amazon, and Amazon then have the market. So a lot of my stuff on my GitHub has been cloned and sold on AliExpress. Yeah, dude, it happens. It's shit, but it happens. Yeah. And the thing is, you can put whatever licenses you want on shit on GitHub, but people will still ignore it. It sucks. And the other side of this as well is like it's impossible from a financial perspective for you to chase that legally, because it would bankrupt you. Like same with us with like Captus. Captus owes tens of thousands of dollars for GMK Euler. They can't pay us. We've shipped their orders out for their customers because they couldn't do it. They can't pay us. They're now going bankrupt, and we've paid for the product. We paid for production. We paid for shipping for their customers. They never paid us for a penny of it. They owe us tens of thousands of dollars, but they have no money. So if I spend money on taking a legal action against them, I'm just going to lose more money, because I'll get to a point where they'll go, oh yeah, you win in the court or whatever. Captus are now going to pay you $1 a month, and it's like, great. So yeah, It happens. It's sad, but it happens. Etsy has almost been saturated by people selling AliExpress finds. Yeah, dropshipping is pain. Like, we do have some people that message us and say, "Oh, are you dropshipping these products?" It's like, no, these literally sit in my warehouse. There is literally a warehouse through the window to the side of me here. I don't know if the camera will pan round enough to show you. Actually, let's see if it will. Let's see if the camera will pan round enough to show. I mean, if you guys watch on Insta, you'll have seen anyway. I don't know if the camera will pan round quite enough to show you this. Oh, wrong way. Go the right way, Jay. But through that window there, that looks down onto the workshop. I don't think you're actually going to get to see anything. Yeah, okay. Can we see? Will it go around far enough to look through the other? No. Okay, so that's as far as the camera will turn. Okay, well, at least we know. Yeah, anyway, through that window there, that's where the workshop actually is. So, yeah, that's where all the stuff is. You only had one thing cloned and it's your least successful keycap set? Yeah. Yeah. Like, the fun thing was that there is an SA set of GMK Midnight Rainbow on AliExpress, or it used to be on there, I haven't looked for a while, and it was called SA GMK, which was really funny, Midnight Rainbow. So, yeah, I can see that happening. An old job sold very niche software to a client, and that client ended decompiling and cloning the product and selling it to their local market. Bet you guess where. I'm not going to try and guess, but yeah, I can imagine. It sucks, man. It sucks. I get more than 20 emails a week for boards cloned on Ali since last year. Yeah, dude. What is this Fence Pets camera? It's an Insta360. It's pretty good. It will follow me around as well. I hate that bit of it, so I turn that off, but it will follow me around as well. So does GMK outline. Yeah. This might be a bit of a serious question, but does being a vendor for many more group buys than the average keyboard stores globally take its toll? I imagine the time investment is absurd. Yeah, so Alvi, like, the time investment is absurd. Like, yeah, so there's two elements to this. This is probably the best question we've had today. So it's a really good question, Alvi. So there's two elements to it. One is time and logistics management. Let's just bundle that all under logistics management. So because we're taking on more projects, there's more logistics. Okay, so that can be everything from liaising with the manufacturer to putting products on the website to physically getting the products, shipping them out to customers, all of that kind of stuff, right? All of that logistics, end-to-end production. Okay, that the more we do, the more of that there is to do. Which is why I often say that we're a logistics company that just happens to deal in custom keyboards. Realistically, the product that we sell doesn't make a difference to how we process shit, and it just changes suppliers and it changes the product, right? It doesn't actually change the processes that we follow. The second side of that is financial, because like that becomes then a lot of money that you're on the line for, and it's not just like cash flow. People think that group buys are kind of like these locked boxes, like, oh, you run GMK1 and you get all the money for that and you put it into this one locked box and that goes on the shelf, and then you get the money for GMK2 and that goes into this box and put it on the shelf, and you get the money for keyboard 1 and that goes into this box and gets put on the shelf. And realistically, from a cash flow perspective, you can't run a business like that, because you've got costs that are required to be covered from all of those three products that we talked about, and you can scale that to however many products you want. Let's say it's 100, 1,000, whatever, it doesn't matter. But all of those products are then coming into what's your cash flow. Okay, they're providing cash, and cash is an asset that businesses need to keep progressing, and just to keep the lights on as well. So from that, you have staffing costs to pay, you have warehousing costs to pay, building rates and taxes, and all of those other things. You've got production to pay for, and all of this kind of stuff. So realistically, you can't lock it in those boxes. You actually have to have an open flow of cash in and out to be able to accommodate what's happening. And this is why I have a buffer amount that I don't like to see the business bank account drop under, because if it drops under that, it means that there is a risk, you know, and if it's over that, then it means I'm comfortable with that risk. So there is a number, which I won't share, but it's a big number, and that's where I'm comfortable with business being. So yeah, so it's two things. It's logistics and it's cash flow. And you can't lock boxes up like that. It just doesn't work, because you're taking customer money and you're putting it into a box, and you're only withdrawing to pay for production. Well, what about where does the money come from to pay for your gas, your electricity, your lighting, your taxes, your insurances, your business rates, you know, all of that kind of stuff. You have to figure it out from somewhere, and the only way to do that is to make sure you're managing your cash flow effectively. And cash flow is king, and when that cash flow stops, this is when companies such as Mex & Co and My Keyboard and all of these other companies have issues, because the cash flow breaks down and they have not planned for that cash flow if it doesn't continue. You know, it's business 101. What do you do if you have no money? You go and get a loan. What if you can't get a loan because your business is so poorly run? You say goodbye to the business. You know, I'm really oversimplifying it here, but it's kind of like an element of this all the way through. And you have to have plans in place that if shit hits the fan, what are you going to do? How are you going to handle it? And managing cash flow is the vast majority of my job. You know, if we don't have sales, we don't have cash flow. We have, you know, investments into 1,001 projects or whatever they are. But, you know, how do we then, when a keyboard from 3 years ago, like the Allura 65 finally ships to us, how do we pay for the shipping for that? Because we've had to use those funds over the 3 years to cover all of the other costs of being a business. And you need to make sure that you're actually forecasting for that correctly and putting money aside to forecast for it correctly, to make sure you're meeting that forecast, sorry. And also understanding what your business is going to do day to day on your other avenue streams as well. You can't limit it to just group buys. It's just not possible to run a business viably on solely selling group buy products. You have to run a business on selling in-stock products alongside to keep cash flow consistent, to pay staff, to pay for lighting, to pay for rent, to pay for taxes. And if you can't manage all of that, it doesn't matter how good your logistics are in the background, because they're just going to fail. Like, logistics stops without cash flow. So you have to be aware of this, and you have to build your business plan based on it. And most people in this hobby built business plans based on the fact that growth would be exponential, and that's not the case. And that's why we're seeing so many of these vendors fail. And it's not going to stop. There are going to be more vendors that suffer for it. And the sad thing about this is there are vendors out there that have done the right thing every step of the way. They've profited in the right ways. They've made the plans the right way. They've invested in the right way. They've got the cash flow running in the right way. And what's happening now is all of these other vendors are going to fall apart and drop down. And for example, Mexico owed us tens of thousands of dollars of desk mats when they disappeared. We're struggling that we paid for. We're struggling to try and find those. Eternus, when they went bankrupt, they took all of the money for the oceanographer. We had to pay for it again, and pay for their units as well. Captors keycaps for Euler, we paid for GMK Euler from GMK for all of their units, all of the US production units. I had to pay for, and then I had to pay for the shipping to their customers because they had gone bankrupt. And you know what's going to happen at some point is there's going to be other vendors like PT that are suffering all these costs from these other vendors collapsing all around them. And they're going to have too many issues to deal with, and too many risks are going to come to fruition. And no matter how much mitigation you're going to do, you aren't going to be able to mitigate it away. And you're going to have a vendor fail for no other reason than other people have been remiss in their duties, and that's affected them negatively. But the community is never going to see this. They're just going to see, oh, another vendor has failed. You know, let's just make up a vendor. You know, squash. Let's say vendor squash has been around for 7 or 8 years. I've been doing really well, and 4 or 5 other vendors, Mex and Co, MyKeyboard.eu, Eternus, and all of these other vendors have all gone bankrupt and cost, you know, vendor squash $5,000 each. Well, if their risk number that they keep in their bank wasn't above a certain level from a cash reserve perspective, they now are no longer functioning, and it's not their fault. It is not their decisions that have caused this. It's everyone else's decisions that have caused risks to happen that should never have happened because they didn't have the correct protocols in place. And the community is not going to see this. They're just going to say, oh, you know, vendor squash has failed. They're another one to add to this pile. They're another one to add to this list of failed vendors. And it's sad, but it's going to happen at some point. You know, good question, Albie. Sorry for me to rant about it a little bit, but yeah, it's an interesting one. It's the goat of keyboard vendors. Hey man, good to see you. Thanks for that. I'm not the goat, but yeah. We're looking into insurance. Is there such a thing as insurance to cover you in the case of the product you sell hurts someone? Chokes on keycaps. So guess what I'm asking? What type of insurance do you have for the business? Yeah, so that's called public liability insurance here in the UK, and 100% you need it. You can't legally trade to UK customers if you do not have public liability insurance. That is about $6,000 a year for that one type of insurance. And it's expensive, but in fact, no, it's more than that. It's £8,000 a year. This last year was our public liability insurance. But you have to have it. You can't legally trade without it. Yeah, so it's a requirement. We also have to have employee liability. So if Mel falls over at the workshop and hurts herself, she's covered. Like, she can take time off and she can get paid for her injury and all that kind of stuff. We have insurance in place for that. We also have to insure the company vehicle. You know, for anyone to drive. That was ridiculously expensive. Because there's times when Mel needs to drive it, there's times when Sharon needs to drive it, there's times when I need to drive it. If Josh was here in the UK, there's times when he might need to drive it. Because we need to be able to conduct business, and sometimes that means going to other places. And if we did that in our personal cars, well, then the business has to pay for the insurance on our personal cars to be covered for usage for that. So we have a company vehicle because it's cheaper that way. But again, it's all taxed. So yeah, 3D keycap. You need to make sure you've got public liability insurance. Absolutely, it's a requirement. Even for simple stuff like the meetup that we're doing in the UK, MK UK as an entity, Mechanical Keyboards UK, has to have public liability insurance before we can throw an event like that. Because if someone hurts himself there, we need to be covered. So yeah, 100% make sure you're ready for that. Sounds like cash flow going lower than a watermark is a warning signal. Are there any other signals you monitor or sensitive to? Thousands. Like, there's thousands. Like, it's impossible for me to give you them all. But, social media, very, very, common with that. We can see, like, just in simple terms, it can be just how many views things are getting. So how many views are our Insta stories getting each week? I know that on average, a single thing that I post on an Instagram stories, it gets about 2,000 people viewing on average. If all of a sudden I post something and it's for 24 hours and it only gets 300, makes me wonder why. So yeah, there's all sorts of different things. Sales, cash flow, the success of group buys versus a failure rate of group buys, the sales volume of group buys compared to historic group buys based on similar sets, the way we tie group buys to products, the way that keyboards outsell key sets or vice versa. All of these are kind of like, data points that we collect and analyze. There's no particular science behind them, I'll be quite genuinely honest. A lot of them are gut feel, and it's like, I'm worried about that. Let's monitor it and let's see how it changes over time. But, I have to have time to be able to do that. So, yeah. This will be covered by what's called product liability cover. I reckon contacting an insurance broker. So, yeah. So, product liability and employee liability are two key things. Even if you're self-employed, get employee liability cover because you're an employee. And if you hurt yourself in the course of your work and then you can't work, at least you're covered, right? It's worth having it. That's the thing that I always mentioned whenever you, Oblo, and others kicked in to help. It's good that you guys tried to help out the community and those affected, but in my opinion, there will be and needs to be a time when the bailout will stop because doing it will inevitably expose the good folks to insane risks. Yeah, so Scipula, the flip side of this is that on 2 occasions, I'm not going to say what these are because people might get upset with me if I do, but there have been 2 occasions where I have refused to help other products and group buys and things like that. And the amount of negative feedback I've had, why aren't you helping with this? You could help with this. You could help fix this. That kind of level of entitlement is kind of worrying. It's like a case of, yeah, sure I could, but the risk to my business is too great, and I don't want to put prototypists at risk for doing that. So I'll only do it where I can absolutely be certain I can cover it. Insurers stealing all of our money. Dude, yeah. I can drive the truck if I'm here. Yeah, as long as you're over the age of 30 and have a license for more than 2 years, I think. Yeah, and you're an employee of the company. Anyone can, yeah. Ads hitting at a bad time for me. Yeah, sadly I can't stop the ads. I do apologize about that, though. Right, okay. Alvi, I think yours is the best question so far. So you can win the prize today. I will drop you a message on after the stream. So thank you very much for that. It was a really good question that got me on a bit of a rant, so I apologize for that in advance. A couple more questions have come in. Rob says, do you see PT growing in the next 5 to 10 years, or do you think it's a niche hobby so there will be a plateau, and how much you will sell? It's going to be peaks and troughs. It's not working in a hobby like this is not an industry where you can commit to perpetual growth, and that you have to be realistic about that. It's going to be peaks and troughs. Like, there's going to be a dip this month, but then we'll sell another Kahaku and it'll go up, or we'll, whatever the next hot thing is. Rubber hose this past month has been massive for PT, I can't lie. And there's always products like that will sell and buck trends, and make things difficult to forecast on. But yeah, it's peaks and troughs. There's no set answer to that. So yeah. PC is a business, not a charity. People have to understand this. Yeah, they do. I think it's difficult to... I think because I'm so open and because I do talk like this on stream about stuff, people expect that I will share everything and anything, which is not the case. I'll share most things, but there are still some things I won't share. Yeah, so Yeah, but businesses aren't charities. Businesses are there to make money. The reward for a business doing well is making profit. And there are people that say, oh yeah, but you're in a hobby, so you shouldn't really be entitled to make profit. I think that's bullshit. Profit isn't a dirty word. Companies need to make profit, otherwise there's no incentive or impetus to do better. If your company is making a loss but not making market gains, and you're not going for that ultra capitalist kind of like dominate the market kind of thing, but you just wanted to be another key player in the market, you have to realize that for a company to be able to do that, it has to make profit. It can't pay staff. It can't be an employer if it doesn't make money. It can't then offer new products if it doesn't make money. You know, people say, oh yeah, but keyboard's been stagnant for a year, nothing's really changed. That's because the vendors are playing it safe and they're holding on to the money to make sure that they're not going to go bankrupt. They can't just invest everything and all of that profit margin into a potential opportunity if there's no good, rationale for it. So yeah. Didn't even realize it was price, but thank you so much. Yeah, we said there's a price earlier on. In both cases, people F around. In the case you have people simply not care, well, not that they don't care, but as you said, it looks like it's a due thing, and whenever you try to safeguard the work of a lifetime, people think you're just an eager businessman that doesn't care about this. Yeah, like it's a dual-edged sword, is this? So I have lost friends in this hobby because they have been disappointed with the decision I've made for the business. But I will stand by the business's decisions I've made, because if I hadn't, PT might not be here right now. In fact, I know some of the decisions I was encouraged to make would have, that I didn't make, or that I decided against, would have so negatively impacted PT that there would be better than 50% chance we wouldn't be here now. But I have lost friends over that who are absolutely adamant that I had to do those things, and I refused, and here we are. So, sad, but it is the way it is. Good nature is exploited all too often. Maybe. There comes a time when being open is useful, and there comes a time when being open means that people expect something from you that no one should have to share. I often get asked questions why I share so much, and it's because I want people to know what we do here at PT. But no matter how many of my stories you watch, you will never see a story that's recorded in my house, because I don't want to share my private life. Like, mine and my wife's life is private. I might share when we go to the park with the dog, because people like to see workshop dog, but I'm not going to share pictures of what my living room looks like, or what my bedroom looks like. That's just not not something I'm going to do. That's a private space for me and my wife, and I don't share it. And people often say, oh, you never share pictures of your garage at home. You only share pictures of the cars that are at the workshop. And it's like, yeah, because that's my garage. It's my safe space. It's my, when I'm not here at PT, that's where I am. I'm probably in the garage at home. And I have a right to that privacy. So yeah, like, it is one of those things. Reddit, hey man, good to see you. Thank you so much for being here. Would you say sales as a whole have slumped? It seems like the hobby has sort of slowed down a bit. So I think it's difficult for me to give you a straight answer on that one, because PT is in a position whereby we have so much stuff in stock and so much more new stuff coming into stock all the time that our sales are pretty much steady. I think all of the vendors, or nearly all of the vendors, have seen a bit of a drop and a bit of a slump in that, because going back to Alvy's point, we were involved in so many different group buys and so many different products, and we handled those logistics well. We're in a point where we're constantly releasing new products into stock, which is still keeping us on a plateau. I think if we didn't have that, potentially we would see a slump, but we're in a position where we're not, because of the way we've invested in projects up to now. That's not a conscious decision for us to be in that position. That's just a byproduct of how we've run our business. So I suspect that might change in the near to mid future, and we might see some months that are poorer than historically, but overall I think we're in a good position. So yeah, the trick is just keep buying from us, right? Just keep buying from us and we'll be fine. We have more stock than almost every other keyboard vendor as well, and I actually had an email complaining about this the other day. The basic gist of the email was that the person had to go to other vendors outside of the UK because we didn't have what they wanted, and it's like, well, unfortunately I just don't have the capital to invest in everything, and even if I did, then I don't want dead stock. Like, what you wanted might have been something that's been sat on another vendor's shelf for 2.5 years, 3 years, who knows. I don't want all my stock to be dead stock like that. So yeah, it's like a swings and roundabouts. So yeah, I think overall, if you look at the range that we have, we probably have more GMK sets available than almost every other vendor right now. Just to pick one example, like if you look at the number of key sets overall that we have in stock, I don't know of anyone that has a similar number of key sets in stock as what we do in terms of range. Maybe perhaps in individual units, sure, like that we might have, I don't know, GMK Alta, and the US vendor might have 100 base kits of it and we might only have 50. But, like if you look at the range overall, I don't know anyone who's got as many keycap products in stock as we do right now. So yeah, That's just the way it is sometimes. The thing I miss the most is active communities on Discord. Sure, there were people who weren't good for the hobby, but these days a lot of groups feel very empty nowadays, and the failure for vendors only adds to that. Yeah. Island KB, I think, is the only other company that's got a similar volume to us, Felix. I think that's true, yeah. So said, yeah, I agree on the terms of community thing. I think the downfall of forums is partly to blame for that, and there is a mindset now that everyone's out for themselves in a lot of the Discord communities. And that's absolutely not something I want to, progress. Like there's, like in MK UK, there's been a whole lot of stuff recently about a certain group of people that felt persecuted because one of the channels that they frequented was deleted, and it was just because that kind of chat wasn't really what MK UK was about. It's more about keyboards with a side of community and building that community and people being nice to each other. And that one particular channel had quite a lot of negativity and connotations to it, whereby new people to the server felt off-put by that channel being there. So, but you have to remember that communities don't have to be one thing for everyone. So the argument that we felt was like, oh, it's going to push people away, and it's like, well, that's understandable because you're not getting what you wanted here anymore. But that doesn't mean to say that this place has to be what you wanted it to be. The purpose for different spaces on the internet isn't that one size fits all and that one particular Discord server is the only Discord server that you need to be in and will provide all of the utility that you need. It's more of a case of, well, Discord servers need to be a place for communities about the right things. And if your thing is that you're wanting to talk about isn't the right thing for that community, well, then it's probably not the right place for you to talk about it. It should be somewhere else. And I think there's a big disconnect where people think that, oh, I'm part of this community. I really love this place. I think it should now have this facility and this feature. But that's not what that particular community is about. And it's really difficult to kind of like bring people on that journey because they don't want to take that side into consideration. They don't want to understand or appreciate the decisions you're making aren't based on persecution or lack of free speech or anything else. It's about pursuing an idea, and it's about pursuing a purpose for the server or for the environment or for the forum or whatever it is. And to produce that purpose, you have to make sure you're compliant in certain areas and that you're actively progressing towards that purpose. It's not that you're being disclusive or not inclusive to try and remove some of that remedial stuff that doesn't need to be discussed there and could be fulfilled in other places. It's more of a case of making sure that has a direct sense of purpose and clarity. And I think a lot of the time that's missed. Like people just don't understand that that's what you're trying to achieve. So yeah. Can you share a picture of Shopdog? There's loads on Instagram. If you go on Instagram, actually, she was in the car with me all day yesterday. So yeah. To be honest, that's an issue I feel in all communities. Yeah, and like communities are always going to have toxic things, and it's down to the moderators and owners and leaders of those communities to make sure that they're in the right space. The issue with MK UK that I'm talking about, that was because the moderators and admins were remiss over the past few years in locking down that kind of position, and now that they're wanting to create a stamp to provide that impetus to move to a new and refined vision for what the server should be, it's met with remorse from other people and people putting up walls because they're defensive of what they've got and what they've been able to achieve. It's a lack of moderation, it's a lack of leadership that's caused that issue. That's what it is. It's not the user's fault. It's just down to how those communities are moderated and how they're administrated and how they're run and what people perceive them to be as well. You need to make sure that your environment and your community is kind of run in the way that you are expecting it to be. You need to prescribe that kind of feeling for it, and then you'll develop that feeling because you've prescribed it. And seeing growth based off user demand is great, but if they're demanding things in the wrong direction, you just need to be clear with them. That's not what this place is about. It's not what we're wanting to try to do. It's not what we're trying to achieve. We're trying to achieve this instead. We'd really rather you help us achieve that goal and look elsewhere for these other conversational pieces. So yeah. The fact that some of us in community can make profit is an important reason why the hobby exists and keeps going. That's why we can enjoy what is available to us. Who is willing to work for free? Yes, that is all about money and profit, but without it, we and vendors can't survive. Yeah, this is another thing as well. Like people expect, like I take very little out of the business. Like I pay myself 12 grand, less than 12 grand a year. I shared my end of year tax statement a couple of weeks ago on stream. I don't take any dividends. I don't have any other income streams. I literally just have what I get paid from here, and the small amount of money I make off Twitch, which actually negatively affects my salary as well because it balances out. Anyway, but there is an expectation sometimes from the community that me taking a salary is the wrong thing to do because I'm then profiting off of the community, and that is seen as a bad thing. But you know, you wouldn't go to work for no money. You'd only go to work if your employer paid you. If your employer said, sorry, but it's all about the community, and this is why you have to come to work now, you'd go, no, it's not. I'm coming here for my salary. If I'm not getting paid, I'm just not coming in. But there's a different expectation when you run a hobby-based community, based company, and you're very visible. There is this expectation that your success is defined by how little you make versus how much you make, and doing well for yourself is seen as a negative thing in some cases. So yeah, or even making a living at all is seen as a negative thing, and that's one of the hard things I've had to face into. A lot of feedback I got earlier on is that you should do it for the love of the hobby, Jay. You should spend all that time each week packing boxes and sorting out products for the love of the hobby, and to an extent that's great. I'd love to do that, but I need to be able to survive as well. If I can't pay my mortgage, you know, how can I afford to keep coming to work? So yeah, it's a difficult one. But money and profit isn't a dirty word, and people shouldn't be lambasted for making a profit. Sure, if you're making 10 million a year or whatever, that's a little bit obscene. But you know, to make 20, 30, 40 grand a year to make a reasonable salary living, I think that's okay. You know, GMK helps the hobby with stuff. They still want the money, absolutely, but that's fine. They're entitled to their money, right? You know, if you don't want to support them, you don't buy the products. It's simple as that. It's in our own interest that you earn enough to help to keep you running PT and don't have the need to look for other sources of income. Sure, I don't disagree. I think a lot of the community disagree with you on that, though. Do you scope out new suppliers? If so, what do you look for? Yeah, we spend a lot of time working with new suppliers. Generally, the main things that we look for are quality and ease of working with them as well. Pricing's often key too, but it's more important that we can get a good quality product, and the logistics of handling that is worthwhile. I constantly have stuff out for RFQ with different businesses. That's a like request for quoting. Based on whatever we're doing at the time, based on new product lines, ideas, opportunities. 90% of them probably don't go anywhere, 10% do, and yeah, a lot of again is gut feel. So yeah, it's interesting, but yeah, the communities are tied to the people that we love and care for. So on the community piece, I think it's just an educational piece sometimes, that remember where you are in communities doesn't have to be your everything. And you know, if people are surviving off of those communities, that doesn't make them beholden to them, but it means that, you know, quite often they need support. So people who disagree do not understand how essential and nice it is to have trusted vendors where you have such easy access to products that are needed for the hobby. Yeah, I mean, if you look back like 5 years ago in keyboard world, there was nothing in stock, nothing. Like when PT first started, which is literally 5 years ago now, this year, in like 4 months or something, it's 5 years ago, I think. You know, there was nothing in stock. Like, and if someone put a GMK set in stock, because there were so few GMK sets run at the time, they'd sell out pretty much instantly. And the market is now in a position where it's actually a proper market. You know, you can buy things in stock at your leisure. You don't have to buy it the day it comes out for the vast majority of things. You can buy it a couple of days later. You can sit on it. You can think about it. You know, it's a fully functioning, you know, kind of niche now. It's not something that's driven by next to no products and high demand. It's now comfortable demand with comfortable supply, and that's a good thing ultimately. I think the biggest challenge for the community has been realizing that the aftermarket now has less value, and the hobby as a whole, people have been so used to buying stuff in stock, not in group buy, and then it being worth 2, 3, 4, 5 times what it was worth at group buy, and using that as an investment opportunity for their own personal gain, which, don't forget, personal gain is bad, guys. Right? Remember that was the whole thing. But using things like that for the personal gain, and that now they can't do that because the things that they buy for themselves, they decide 6 weeks later they don't want it. It's still in stock, so your second-hand version is now worth, you know, 30%, 40% less than what the in-stock version is worth, because like any market, secondhand goods don't have the value that brand new goods have. Secondhand doesn't come with a warranty, brand new does. So therefore, and it's unused, therefore the value is higher, the proposition is higher, and the opportunity cost is higher. And I think that the one of the biggest elements of the community is that they're now having to get their heads around the fact, I can't sell this for what I paid for it because it's still in stock. But ironically, for the past 4 years, they've been complaining that stuff isn't in stock. Oh, more stuff should be in stock. And then as soon as stuff is in stock, it's now the other side. So there's no way of keeping all elements of the community happy in these kind of circumstances, because they want to have this incredibly valuable aftermarket, but they want everything in stock as well. And those two just don't meet. They're polar opposites. You can't have both of those in the real world. You either limit supply to create increased aftermarket demand, or you have more available supply and the aftermarket decreases, and that's what we're seeing. So the more the aftermarket decreases, the more the hobby is doing better in a way. The better the health of the hobby overall, because products are remaining in stock, and that's good for people to buy from. So you are having a better time as a consumer if you're struggling to sell stuff in the aftermarket retail price than if you because things are better in stock and available. So the more availability, the less the aftermarket's worth. I butchered how to explain that, but I hope that makes sense. I remember when looking at keycap kits after keycap kit that didn't have UK ISO and were not in stock. Too stubborn to use ISO without UK. Yeah, I get that. Yeah, so we're trying to work with KKB. For every single KKB set PT runs, we will provide a free UK ISO kit. So if you buy a base kit from us for KKB in group buy, we will give you and you add it to your basket. It's free. You can add the UK ISO kit for free. So yeah. It was rough trying to get extras just 1 to 2 years ago. I think it's a little bit longer than that now. I'd say it was probably like 2.5 to 3 years ago, but yeah, absolutely. Anyone cherishing the hobby properly wouldn't complain about those things. Maybe. Do you think UK ISO users are disadvantaged by being forced to buy extras for UK ISO keys? No, they're wanting something the issue here is UK ISO users are very, very, and I'm one of them, so don't take this as an insult because it's not meant that way, because I'm absolutely this person. They are a very vocal minority subset of a user base that doesn't like it when they don't get what they want. So like with the KKB stuff, we're giving it to you free. So I'm not sure how free is being overcharged. But you're wanting a product that's not standard, right? The hobby over the past 10 years has developed what's become a standard, right? Which is the ANSI base kit. Whether you agree with that or not, that's what's happened. The issue is that the number of UK ISO users is not even half of the UK users. So if we sell 100 keyboards to UK consumers, and that keyboard can be built ANSI or ISO, I can guarantee that less than 20% of them are built ISO, and the other 80% are built ANSI, because that's the numbers that we see. Where we offer a free UK ISO kit with a base kit, only 15% of customers take us up on that offer. So this is for free. This is for no additional cost. Only 15% of customers are taking us up on the offer. So, that tells me that those ISO users aren't that majority user that it seems to be. So, I mean, this is just giving you the facts, right? So, it's not a commentary on my thoughts or feelings yet. I'll get to that in a second. So, I don't think it's being overcharged to buy extra kits. What they want is such a small minority edge case that it's not viable to make everybody have to purchase that, right? It's just one of those things, unfortunately. Why would all of the US buyers want to buy the UK ISO keys when that's not the standard? And you might then say, well, why should the UK users have to buy the ANSI keys? It's because the vast majority of UK users already use ANSI anyway. So it's difficult. Now, the flip side to this is I do think this has been a bit of a self-fulfilling prophecy. Over the years, people get to the point in the hobby where they think, oh, I really like UK ISO, but it's not available. I'll give ANSI a try because that's more available. And then they move away from ISO and they're an ANSI user all of a sudden. And that's fine. But it's really difficult to conflate this kind of lack of demand into tangible products. Like, people speak with their wallets. If you guys don't buy it, we can't invest in it. And if I can't invest in it, well, none of the other vendors are going to do it either, because they don't need UK ISO, they need US ANSI for the vast majority of parts of the world. So I understand that it's a problem and it's a challenge, and I'm trying to fix that by doing stuff like the KKB stuff. But and like with GMK, like we've worked with GMK to try and do something similar. They now do a standardized international kit which covers Norda and UK, so Norway, Germany and UK keys, and we have to sell it, like contractually we have to sell it at cost price. So that's what we do. So that's, for example, at GMK Rainy Day R2. Another example is GMK Rubber Hose. So those particular kits we're selling at cost price because we're contractually obliged to do so, and in exchange GMK are basically producing them at cost price for us, and they're not making a profit margin on that. But it's really difficult to try and target the opportunity, or increase the opportunity, for such a minority subset. The vast majority of UK customers don't use UK ISO, so trying to make it more available is so hard, and it costs so much money. Like the sets with KKB, I still have to buy the UK ISO keys. I just give them away for free in the hopes that we'll sell more base kits, and it's showing that we've been doing it for a few months, and I'm going to do it for at least the next 18 months, so we'll do it for 2 full years. But like the numbers at the minute are showing me that people don't want the UK ISO keys because only 15% of people are adding them to cart. If we sell 100 KKB instants, for example, only 15 people in the whole of the UK are saying, I'll add that free kit, to the cart, which shows me it's worthwhile. So it's really difficult to argue with it when it's numbers like that. I get the emotional side of it because I'm a UK ISO user too. Like my keyboard here, it's UK ISO. It's great. I love it. But it's so hard to justify that from a business perspective. Right? I hope that makes sense. I've been trying to buy an F1 ATEX for the longest time, and it's just nice and easy. No more getting up at 4 AM and coming in with nothing. Market at the minute is great. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It's a buyer's market right now, which is what ironically everyone wanted. Yeah. Basically the word is selfishness. I'm not sure. It's hard to profit from flipping. Yeah. Free ISO kit, sweet. Good, I'm glad you like it. Same with Spanish and the N key. Yeah. I butchered the pronunciation, but I tried. I don't mind the 2 and 3 keys. It's the pound hash that bugs me. Yeah. Sorry, the tilde hash. Yeah. Okay. I assume overcharged because large international kits in the past have been paying £8 to £10 a key in the past. I get that. I still get them to support it. If we don't buy it, we won't get it made. Absolutely. Truly is a consumer market. My local vendor is selling off my non-ugly GMK sets for 52 quid. Yeah. I don't know who that vendor is, but sure. Yeah. Like, I mean, we had GMK DualShock for 50 quid in stock for a couple of weeks. Any keyboard you buy off the shelf here is UK ISO. Dell does it, Apple keyboards do it, etc. Yeah, but in custom world, it doesn't translate to sales. It just doesn't. It just does not translate. I get that, but it doesn't translate. So, in fact, actually, in the UK, Apple sell more ANSI Mac-based MacBooks in the UK than they sell UK ones. They released some numbers a couple of years ago that showed that. Yeah, it's influence. People see ANSI and think that's what a board should look like. Maybe, but then to try and get away from that, people have to buy the product. If people don't buy the product, we can't make the product. We can't sell the product. So it's really difficult. I'm Elvin. Thank you so much for the raid with 50 people. Thank you so much, guys, for coming across. I appreciate you guys here. We're just talking about the disparity and difficulties that UK ISO users suffer. I usually buy ANSI layout because it's a standard, but I really like the UK layout. Yeah. The number one requested feature of every board I design is usually ANSI support if it doesn't have ANSI. Yeah, it's true. Yeah. The Neo Ergo is so nice for the buyer's market. Can't wait to get my hands on it one day. Yeah, so 22nd we're going to be selling it, I think. I think it's the 22nd from memory. So yeah, watch out for that. It's very interesting to hear. I ran a short pre-order for Retro Mix like R2, and every customer who purchased a base kit added the free UK ISO kit. I guess it varies set to set. Yeah, I think it does. And you know, I'm glad that you're doing it as well. But like it took so long for me to get KKB to agree to do it as well. And I suspect, Ollie, I don't mean this to sound negative, I suspect we probably buy multitudes more than you do. But yeah, I think I can't remember which set it was, but there was a set recently and we sold something like 120 base kits, and only something like 17 people bought the free UK ISO kit. It's impossible to go with. I was about to say about the Apple MacBooks being more popular for ANSI in the UK. Yeah, they are. Yeah, it's a fact. Yeah, thank you so much for being here, guys. I'm Elvin. Thank you so much for the raid. I appreciate it. A number of UK-based programmers I know switch to ANSI Apple Macs because it's just easier to use. Yeah, I mean, it depends. It depends. Yeah, like it really depends on what you're doing with the programming and stuff like that. But I wouldn't say that programming is particularly any more difficult on any keyboard than any other. So yeah, like it's not easier or harder. In fact, I think if anything, UK ISO is easier to code with because the amount of times I need a pipe or a backslash or a hash when I'm coding is significantly more possible. Show me the geek hack. Wait, what do I need to see, Instigator? What do I need to see? Drop a link. Let me take a look, and we'll have a look at it. Because it's not too far until we finish streaming now. So drop me a link, and we'll take a look. While I'm waiting for that, don't forget, guys, if we do hit the subs goal either today or on subsequent streams, we'll be giving away 3 free GMK sets. So subs do make prizes. There you go. Cool. So yeah, so it's really an interesting situation, but the struggle for UK ISO users is real. I get it, I understand it, and I'm trying to do my best for it. But you guys need to buy that shit to be able to make more of it, right? If it doesn't sell, it's difficult to justify why we'd make more of it, or make it even more available. And it becomes even harder to convince US-based designers to include it as well. So yeah, it's really difficult. So yeah. I would be happy to buy a UK ISO kit, but find it hard to justify getting the Nordic UK kit using so few keys out of them. Can understand this may not be realistic logistically though. Yeah, like that's the problem. So with GMK, if you're doing a kit that's got like less than 15-20 keys in, it costs so much money for them to have someone to do it and count it out and produce it and everything else, because that has to be done by hand. Like they physically go and grab the keys from bins and put them into a pack, that it just makes it unviable to do. So where you see some novelty kits that have only got like 10 keys and they're 50 quid because it's just so costly to produce. Whereas with what GMK has done is they've basically said, if we make a Nordic UK kit and it's got this particular set of keys in it, we can do it at this price and we won't make a profit on it. All that they ask is that then the vendors don't make a profit on it, which I think is about as fair as we're ever going to get with this. Like the only other way to do it is to do production in China and produce, you know, where small quantities don't matter, where you can produce just 5 of a kit if you need to. But it's really difficult with westernized countries to do that. So yeah, it's difficult. 30 years using ISO, so feel like it's too late for me to change to ANSI now. Yeah, I mean, I switch and flop between the two. I used to struggle to use ANSI, but over the years I've kind of got used to it as well. I don't mind Nordic UK kits because we have to stand up for our Euro brothers and sisters. Yeah, I mean, I wonder if it's worthwhile me creating a Nordic UK trade channel whereby someone could say, I'm going to buy the Nordic UK kit. Does anyone want the the Norwegian or the German keycaps out of it and split it? I wonder if that's an option that we could look at, maybe like a Nordic UK trade channel. I don't know how successful it would be. Like if enough of you go and suggest it in suggestions on the Discord server, I'll make it and we'll test it and we'll see. We'd have to put some rules in it that it'd only be for like ones that we sold, maybe. But yeah, go if you want to see that. Go mention it on the Discord server. Links down below, and I'll try and make it a thing. I'll try and make it a thing. As it says, I've also swapped to ANSI US at this point after using ISO DE for years. It's just a lot easier to shop for, and using programs to substitute missing letters works for me. That's cool, man. If it works for you, it works for you, and no one should knock that. But yeah, in a world of custom keyboards, I wish we could all have what we want, but sadly it's not the case. Like, some things are just too expensive to produce for such a small market, and if people aren't buying it, it makes it even harder to make. So yeah, I switched to ANSI to unify everything, and also it's more available. At the time I was switching between ISO España on my personal laptop, ANSI on my work laptop, and ISO UK on the OEM boards over here. Not anymore, just ANSI everything. Yeah, see, yeah. It's buying into an ecosystem, yeah. Yeah, you most definitely do. Got me worried because I purchased pretty much the same amount of ISO UK kits as base kits, hoping I'm not stuck with a big batch of UK ISO keys once the base kits sell out. Dude, just sell them as a bundle. Just do it that way. That's the answer to it. All of our extras I bought the UK ISO kit for, so like in stock they'll just be, you have to get the UK ISO keys. Tough luck. It's the only way to do it, mate. Only way to do it. I've seen the Naughty UK trade channel done. Usually ends up quite sad. We'll try. We'll give it a try. If enough people ask for it, I'll give it a try. I only have 2 ANSI boards, and they are both commission designs for Laserman, and a really old laptop. Yeah, like yeah. I mean, we have some of your boards in stock actually, Envious. If anyone wants to check out Envious's designs, let me show you real quick. Was it called the Slice? I think. Let me find it. Why can I not find it? Hold on. Let's do it for the in stock. Envious actually makes some really cool keyboards. Where is it? How long ago did we put this in stock? Wasn't that long ago? Why did search not find that? The Delirium, yeah. So this is it. So this is Envious's board. This is the fixed ISO version, as you can see up at the top here. If you can see my cursor, fixed ISO version. Comes pre-soldered with all the diodes, and is that a Pro Micro? I can't tell. Yeah, installed. Hot swap as well. Yeah, in stock. Go support Envious. They're in stock and available. I'll drop a link in chat. There's only 4 of them, so if you get one, it's really exclusive. That's why the price is so high, because there's only 4 of them. So yeah, consider it. Consider it. Wait, oh yeah, it was my old pub. We don't need that anymore. There we go. Can you recommend a GMK set that would fit the AR3 Altair? I'm not sure whether I need an Ergo or Ortho set, or maybe a 40 step for that. Dude, that's probably a question for the Discord, because I'd need to sit down and analyze what keys it had. Yeah, I'm not sure. That pick goes hard. What of the thing? This one? This is in the engine bay of my this is in the engine bay of my GMC K1500. So what you can't see behind this is there's actually a small block V8 in there. So there's a 5.8 litre V8 engine hidden behind this keyboard. The keyboard isn't actually holding the hood up or the bonnet up. Like it's just the bonnet's on these giant springs in the corners, so you can actually set it at any height, and it'll hold itself up automatically. And the keyboard is actually just resting there, but it looks quite cool. It looks quite cool. I think there's some other pictures with the. Here you go. There you go. There you go. So you can see it's just resting on the bonnet catch there, but that's the top. That's the air intake on top of the carburetor for the V8 there. So yeah. Did I get any of those? No, just those 2. So yeah, there you go. There you go. Definitely go check it out though. It's a cool board. I think that's what I'll do. Force those ANSI heathens to have a UK ISO kit with a like or not. Yeah, man. Like it's in stock. Tough luck. Tough luck. I had an ANSI keyboard in work once. My boss kept having to unlock my account because I kept typing my passwords wrong. Yeah, I hear you, man. I hear you. That pop-up chat sound. God, good jump scare. Yeah, we're fixing that. We've told it to turn off. What year is GMC? It's 1969. So it's K1500 from 1969. There's probably pictures of it on Instagram if you're interested. Those are some super cool product photos. Yeah, man, I just shoved it in the engine bay because the engine, it's almost constantly on trickle charge because I don't drive it very often. So if the engine bay's up, I just put stuff on there to take pictures of. Yeah, like I think if you look at the old before we did Typist's Brew, when we used to do the coffee, let's see if before we did Jay's Roastery, when we did Typist's Brew. I think not that one. Where did we take the pic? Oh. There is one. There is a listing somewhere. Maybe not. I wonder if I can show it a different way. Let me see if I can show it a different way. Give me a second. I'll see if I can show it a different way. This might work. Okay, I think historically we used to have some images on here. So this is a lot of the product images that are in the back end of Shopify. And I think we used to have some of Mel in the back of the truck selling desk mats in one of the little green pickup trucks we've got. And we also did it with the coffee. Like I'm pretty sure we had a picture of the coffee on the bonnet of the truck. Like, I've used the cars for some photo shoots, is basically what I'm saying. I can't find it now. Oh, actually, was it not on one of the blog posts? How do I get back to the blog posts? No. Maybe if I search for cactus, is it going to find the thing? No. Okay. Anyway, I'm sure there is a blog post on there somewhere that actually has that picture. Let me see if I can find it. I'm trying not to share too much of the back end of Shopify, but let me see if I can find it. Pages. I'm sure we did it for something. I can't find it now. Anyway, we did do some product pictures with stuff in the background, the cars in the background. It was a thing. We did it for a while. So yeah. There'll be extras for the Navy 60. Yeah, as soon as we get them, there'll be extras. Yeah. Yep. I just noticed all the JO2s in the background. Yeah, so there's actually some JO2s and some JO1s in the background. That's just on the top of my drawers. Yeah. He did a great job of the design on the board too. Yeah, he did. Envious is great. Yeah, he's a good man. Hey, Mr. J, just come back from an exam. How's your day going? It's going well, man. It's about time for me to go home because it's 4:30. Take the dog for a walk and make some dinner. My wife comes back home from a trip today, so yeah, it'll be good. Hope you're doing well, Joshua. So yeah. Cool. Okay, so I think that's pretty much it for the end of the stream. I've got a ton of DMs that have come through whilst I've been streaming, so I'm going to go and try and handle some of those today before it gets too much to do tomorrow. I hope you enjoyed the stream today. Thank you so much for all the questions. Well done to Alvi for winning the prize for the best question. And I'm going to see you guys on stream on Sunday when we're going to be doing something pretty fun with a new keyboard. So feel free to join us for that. Thank you again so much for watching, guys. I appreciate every last one of you. And I'll see you on Sunday. Come join the Discord, come join Instagram, and you'll see things that are happening on a day-to-day basis. But thank you very much for all the love. And thank you very much for the raid. I'm Elvin as well. Take care, guys. See you later. Bye-bye.